You're almost first when it comes to action in the session.
A town meeting or just a selectmen meeting?
This selectman.
Everybody in town watching.
Is this for correspondence, or is this to add to the agenda?
Which one is that?
That's or for the budget, it's about the,
Historic district?
yeah.
I think we need to
Historical
discuss whether
Society.
society, we need to discuss, I don't really have much of a direction as to what to do regarding where do we go? I don't know where to go with it.
I would say this would be a budget one, because
Okay.
for them to be able to spend anything, it has to be approved.
There's a couple more cars pulling in.
One of them might be Josh.
Is he coming tonight?
No.
No, I didn't think
No?
so. No. Yeah.
I'd say by the looks of that letter, no. That'd be my guess.
No.
You have a spare agenda?
Spare agenda.
Right here.
None.
Because you gave me two, or
I
that
gave
was
you two.
Josh's or something?
No, I gave you two.
Joe. Anytime, Alden. Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. 4 out of 5 selectmen are here this evening. Could we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amendments to the agenda, I do have one. We'll call it 7E, and a letter from Selectman Libby. Is there any public comments this evening?
This gentleman back here.
If you could come up to the,
Sure.
yeah, thank you.
I stole one of your pens. That's okay. And I did give them one of these so that they know what you're talking about.
My name's Bill Downs. I live over on Evergreen Lane. I was dealing with Pearl about renting the Eureka Center for my son's 7th birthday on March 18th. And she sent us all the paperwork, and going through it, I noticed there was a caveat in there that said no animals. Part of my son's birthday party is a educational animal presentation by Wildlife Encounters. It's a very well-respected, very well-known company out of Rochester, New Hampshire. I emailed their website and a copy of the rider that I showed you to the administrator's email, if you wanted to look at that. It's not like somebody's coming with their pet tiger. A sample of the animals that my son would like to have. You have two choices that they keep away from everybody, and one would be an Arctic fox and a Coata mundi. His backup is a wallaby, which is like a small.
Of course. I'd want to have one of them in mine. Yeah, absolutely.
You want one for your birthday?
And then the theme of his party is Angry Birds. So for the animals that you can interact with, he wanted the mini pig, a cockatoo, a laughing kookaburra, and a sugar glider and a mini pig. But the website has all those animals, and we've seen their show in New Hampshire, and like I say, very well controlled, very professional. But I wanted to go through the proper channels to see if that's possible to do.
Did anybody from the Eureka Committee have any
Pro didn't
objections?
have any objection, no.
No. She said to me it'd probably be okay, but
Yep.
I'll put it on the docket for Tuesday. And I came in to get garbage stickers today, and I asked about Tuesday, and they said, well, they're meeting tonight, so she checked the docket, and she said there was nothing on there, so she suggested I come in and speak to you myself.
Have a good time, as far as I'm concerned.
I move that we
Okay.
waive the no animal for this
I
rental.
second that.
Any discussion?
I'd say as long as they're controlled, like you said they are,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna get hurt, then
And like,
insurance anyways, right?
yeah, I emailed to the administrator website their full website and a copy of the contract with their insurance writer PDF in it to the administrator's website, so if you wanted to look at that.
No problems there.
Okay. All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Just,
Happy
I know-
birthday to your son.
I know you might want to make sure they know where, which it is. They've got Durham, New Hampshire as the address on this.
Yeah, I'm still dealing with them.
Okay, I just hoping,
Yeah.
so they show up.
I kind of hit a stop when I read the
Okay,
thing, so now we're going to finalize everything.
okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Any more public comment this evening? Consent agenda.
I move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Animal Control Officer report.
It's quite a pile. I had a bunch of copies my wife made up, so I think there's this is the paperwork you sent me. This is my thing here, and these are,
Thank you.
and this is the 3, 4. That one I think you want. And these are 2 more of all the incidences.
Yep. Read them later. Maintain it.
So yeah, I didn't get everybody a copy, but enough.
We can make copies if anybody wants an extra copy.
Yeah. I do want to say something to this letter about my arm. It's not a problem, and it didn't stop me from doing any of my work. The day I had it operated on, it did. 4 days later, I was still out there doing stuff. So it might have slowed me down for 3 or 4 days, but it didn't stop me from doing my job. Just for the record. These are, this is something I wanted to have, like, a carbon copy made up, so I can put, like, every couple of weeks, or maybe once a month, they'll have date, mileage, and the call received, when and where, whatever, all of my descriptions in there, so that I have a copy of it, and then I can get a copy or mail it to you once a month, so we're not trying to say that I'm not being in contact enough with you or whatever. The other thing is, all my reports that I gave last year, none of that came up on the website, or did it get printed in the book and stuff?
What reports that you gave
All
us
my
last
reports that I gave from last December,
Do we have the town
my,
report?
my first year, the first year, so it'd be like 3/4 of 2016.
The
Or the
2000, you started
15.
this summer of 2015.
Right, so that summer, that fall, right to December, none of that report came up anywhere on the website or in your
No.
books or not, so that wouldn't,
Well, that wouldn't be on the website.
or would it?
It would be, but through the, clicking on the town report.
Right.
Yeah, my wife says like, well, I mean, you made a big issue here that you needed all my reports, and we couldn't find any of my reports, so it's like, well, if I'm making up these reports and you're saying that I'm not staying in contact with you and giving you all the reports, and we couldn't find any of those reports that we put up, so we were like, why do I have to make the reports out and give you this paperwork if you don't do anything with it? And I've requested a couple things put up on your website about the rabies and stuff, and the incidences I happen to have with the rabies and stuff, and none of that showed up either, so. My communication with you, Ruth, hasn't been the greatest, and yours hasn't been the greatest with me either, so. We need to work on that, I'm sure.
We do need to
So-
work on that.
Right, so,
But the reports aren't for us to post on the web, the reports are
well, they
for
go in
us.
the book or
Yep.
wherever they are,
Yep.
I guess, so,
Yep.
I mean, she got that report and we didn't find nothing, so we were just questioning why it wasn't there or why we couldn't find it. And it's like, well, if you do need them reports and you wanna print all of that on there, I mean, you'll have to go through that and say, well, there's so many dogs at large. There's a ton of dogs at large.
Right, and
And I
that's.
think I've caught one out of 60 of them. And it's like,
I did get the cat, by the way, just so you know.
yeah, and I've been there twice to get the cat, and
Sorry, I should
I
call
called the
him.
guy back, and I didn't hear from him for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And the first numbers he gave me was the wrong cell phone number, and then he called me back, but it was like 3 weeks later, and I'm like, well, is this the same guy or is it another cat? And it's like, well, if you put food out there and you put a bed out there and build a motel for cats, they're gonna come. So leave the thing alone, he'll go back home. But so I went over trying to find it, and evidently you found it, because it won't come near me, I never saw it, and it wouldn't go near him. And it's like, well, I get
Don't
these
like
calls
men.
that the guys are telling me, well, the dog's in the road running, he just went into the woods, and I can't get near him, and he can't be caught, but we'd like you to come and get it, because if he gets hit, it's your fault. Why is it my fault when somebody let the dog go? It's not my fault. You know, so I get them calls at 2 o'clock in the morning or midnight, and the guy's drunk, and it's like, well, do I really want to answer that phone call? He doesn't want to meet me. Not at that time of the night. You know, my attitude stops at midnight. Anything before that, it's fine. After that, it's not good. So,
Pat, I think the easiest thing to do on your mileage, I think we've been discussing it, is instead of trying to do the paper trail with you, because you're more of a hands-on kind of man,
Yeah.
is take your
you
mileage
said something
allotment
about
that we
doing the
have
mileage,
and add it
this.
into your
Yeah, I
salary.
mean, my mileage can go
Right,
through the
because you
roof,
never,
or it can be.
you never gave us no paperwork for any mileage all year, so it's kind of hard to pay you for that. But
Right.
it'd be easier just to add it to your salary, and
Right.
the allotment that we have.
Yeah, I don't know what I had for mileage last year, but I
Yeah.
know what it's, you know,
Right. But it has to be,
probably 1,000, 1,200 in that ballpark a year on mileage, so. And, you know, it could be less, it could be more.
Good.
You know, I haven't had to do, my other issues is like the court thing, you know, if I gotta do a court thing and put cases together, you know, I go out and I get some evidence, but I can't go to the district attorney and say, look, this dog's running at large. Well, what proof do you got if that person decides to fight it? 9 times out of 10, they see the charge and it's a $50 fine and they just plead guilty to it and they pay it. And it doesn't go to the district attorney, it doesn't go to the judge. And the judge is like, I'm not gonna put this case into court with all kinds of juries and stuff on a $50 fine. So I gotta have some good evidence to do that. And and a lot of these people here, it's like, well, I saw the dog, but I won't testify that I saw that dog or whatever. And it's like, well, my hands are tied, I can't really do nothing. You know, it's like, and I told you all when I first started that I'm not gonna go out there and start whacking people left and right. I wanna meet the people and be kind, and I did more kindness stuff and got away and got people to do stuff that have never registered the dogs. One is the Bailey boys. Any of you guys here? No. And I went there with guns. It's like, I was warned, watch out for these guys. Well, I got the kid, I got him on the phone and I talked to him and what he says, geez, you ain't a regular animal control officer. And I said, no, I'm not. And I says, you know, and I just worked with him. And he went right down and registered the dog. He got it registered and I hadn't had any problems with that. The woman that's had the goat that's been getting out of the pen for 7 years, when I started 2 years ago, nobody could do anything with her. She's putting in a fence. I mean, she's an old lady, and she's got all the fence posts, she's got all the wiring, she's attempting to do it, so I'm letting her do it. I'm not writing her a ticket, because she's working with me on it. She gave me her cell phone, which Jeff Cooper couldn't get near her. Couldn't get near her, get a phone out of her. Now she's calling me, and I go by and I try to help her and say, do this and do this. And I've caught the goat a couple of times, and she's not around, and put it back in the pen because the neighbor's next door, and it's over there eating their plants and stuff, and I understand that, and she's starting to understand that. So she's coming around, which is kind of, I was surprised I got that far with her.
well, goat herder now, aren't we, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, I was pig wrestling there about 3 weeks ago. Actually, it was just before my operation. I tore the bicep right off the bone. And I went to California the next morning. We drove around there for 3 weeks and then came back that month of September. And I had to go wrestle two 70-pound pigs. And they were on the border of Brunswick and Durham. So I didn't, and it was on the Layton Road. So we don't know where they came from, but it wound up by the Brunswick dump and Labby's there. And we had to, you know, and I couldn't get a rope on him. I couldn't get near him. And I'm like, well, he gets close enough. This 250-pound man's going on top of him. I know I outweigh him. Well, that's what I did. I bailed right on top of him. And before he could take another step, I grabbed his front legs and I pulled him in backwards and drove his.
Any video of this or what? I'm missing all this here.
You call the
video
Brunswick PD. They were right there watching the whole thing.
You could have your own YouTube channel.
And I had probably a 300-pound, 7-foot man with me, Ryan Whitmore. He's an offshore lobsterman. He's like, we ain't gonna catch them. I says, I know. We're trying ropes and lassos and, you know, the fishing thing we do and our fancy knots and stuff, and it weren't working. So I said, well, we're gonna use the old pogue method, and I bailed right on top of him, and I caught him. Once we caught the first one and got the rope around him, the other one came right over, and we stuffed them both into that crate, that dog crate.
Well, I'm happy you got us a report.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm glad to see this, and thank you.
So, yeah, and
Pictures, it's hard for me to get pictures. I mean,
I actually, this here,
Aaron Bailey might have
Yeah.
some of those with us with the pigs.
this here would be, we were asking for like a quarterly report or something.
Yeah,
That was
Something
fine.
like this would be perfect.
Yeah,
And-
I gotta do something like
and-
maybe
and
every
then
2 weeks or once a month, just
Yeah.
put it all down and get it to you, and then I don't have to think about that a
Yeah,
year later.
and
Just-
then, yeah.
My wife does all this typing, and I explain stuff to her, and she takes my blank words, every other word, and puts it into words that you guys won't be offended by. And so she does all that. I can't do that. I don't even know how to turn a computer on. I can barely run the cell phone. You know, I don't text much, and you know, I'd rather jump on that pig than write a letter.
That's what we want you for.
Right.
I want you to do that.
Well, I
Thank
don't
you.
mind doing that, you know, and it's like, you know, there are some things that are just very stupid calls, and it's like, you know, this job is a lot more to it than I thought. And you guys, I don't know if you know how much is involved with this, you know, as far as the legal stuff of it. And I've been working with Brunswick ACO, Harpswell, Lisbon Falls, and, you know, just to get a feel with them and do a ride-along and stuff like that and how they approach it. I've done a lot, I covered Brunswick a lot, but they sent me with an escort every time. So any call that I went on, I had a Brunswick officer with me. And when it came to the paperwork and the charges, I would figure out what the charges were and you know, write them up for this. And he wrote out the summonses. And he dealt with the district attorney, and he dealt with the chief of the police and stuff, which I didn't have to do that. But when they quarantined an animal, you know, the fencing, the proper laws about that stuff, I took care of that part of it for them. So when they give me a call, you know, they would dispatch through the PD, and the dispatch would call me. And then I would go to the incident or whatever was going on, and then when I was done with it, I had to call them back, let them know that I was done, so they didn't think something happened to me. That coverage, which is kind of nice, having that on your back. When I come out in Durham, I'm by myself and I'm alone, and I've had 3 times where I got nervous. I got really nervous. I didn't know if I was going to get jumped and, you know, attacked by dogs. You know, a couple of pit bulls come at me, and I was like, so it was like, and nobody knows I'm there. So it's like, I don't know how I can get around that as far as, you know, these touchy situations. You know,
There's probably no way of telling if that's one of those situations ahead of
there
you.
isn't. You
Right.
just don't know until you go. But,
Right.
you know, I've had only one, well, the 2 pit bull ones, the guy gave me a fair warning. He said, them dogs will tear you apart. And I'm like, okay, click, you know, on the holster, 2 in the truck, and I went. So I knew what was happening. And the other ones were, well, these gentlemen, they don't like law enforcement officers. They don't get along well, so. And I went there barehanded, and I knew one of them, and it turned out really good. So I, you know, with one of those gentlemen, and there's another incident there that I still have to go over and meet with the other side of the family. And, you know, that, I don't know how that's gonna go, but it's gonna be, you know, I'm not gonna push them, and I'm not gonna threaten them, I'm not gonna say, you know, you're gonna get fined or this or that. It's like, what can you do to help me so I don't have to come back here, you know? It's simple. It's in your court.
Right.
You know, what you do, what you choose to do is, you know, it's either bad or good, you know, and I
that's
leave
probably the
that,
best- that's
I
what it
leave
should-
that with
yeah.
everybody I go see.
Right.
You know, on everything, you know, on any little charge, you know, and it's like,
I'll leave the judgment up to you, what you should do.
yeah, and it's
Anyway,
kinda.
The pig jumping.
Right, you don't
It's all
really,
up to-
you don't know, what you know, it's
Yeah.
like, what
I
do I
mean-
do at this time? And sometimes you have to think about it, or,
I don't know, there's one thing you have here is the coverage for you when if you're out or absent, sick or whatever. Is there anything we can reach out to the other ACOs, ACOs around us, and maybe might be able to help cover for you if you're out? I mean,
Ruth,
can we
you
write them a
got
letter?
somebody from Pownell,
Yes.
the month of
ACO.
September.
Yep, Ryan. I
So
think his name's Ryan.
that's an option.
Yep.
I think Jeff Cooper's out, because he's doing Sabatis and Lisbon Falls. Well, power to you if you can do 3 towns, but I don't see it happening. I don't see him responding as much as you would want somebody to respond to that as coverage.
Yeah, I'm just thinking maybe we can send letters out to surrounding
Um,
towns, maybe find some people who might want to
I
back.
covered for Heidi.
Yeah.
Heidi lives here in this town now,
Is she?
so,
She's Brunswick, right?
yeah, she's, would she cover me? Well, she might return the favor. So,
I called,
mean, I
and
could-
she said no.
you did call her? Yeah, okay, so, next time she calls me, I say no. She never called me. I'll tell you about that incident. It's like, for that June, July, and August, that summer.
Yeah.
I was about as green as that tree out there. And she asked me about it, if I'd be willing to cover her, you know, in a couple of months. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Next thing I know, my phone's going off the rocker panel, and it's the dispatch, and they want me to go on these calls. And I'm like, well, we haven't set anything in stone. Didn't know exactly when I was going to start, what I was going to get paid, what are we going to cover here? And next thing I know, I'm on the ACO for Brunswick. And so it was like, she just kind of dumped it in my lap, and here you go. And I didn't know what to do. I said, the basketball's going around the court, but everything I had to do with was with a police officer. So a lot of the police officers had these cases, and I would help them, and then they would write summonses and stuff. And they don't give you any breaks. I mean, your dog is off that leash, they'll write you a ticket.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, it's a bigger town, and there's more risk involved with that, and more liability, I guess.
We
So-
don't know, we don't know what kind of hours, whether we have rotating state police shift, but whether they have all hours of the day. or-
Yeah, I don't know, Freeport has an ACO, I would presume. I mean, I get calls
Every
from
town has to
Freeport,
have an ACO.
Yeah, everyone.
and Pownell, there was people in Pownell calling me about, well, you're the Durham ACO, what you cover Pownell? And I'm like, I don't think so. I didn't know, you know, and that's like, well, you know, call Pownell or your town office or to see what they have, because I don't, as far as I know, I'm not supposed to cover it.
No,
No.
And nobody here told me I was supposed to, so I'm not going.
just Durham.
Right, so, I mean, Jeff Cooper, he calls, he needs a hand or assistance, I'm more than willing to go, because he helped me that day with the dog on the ice down the river, which I couldn't get Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, and I couldn't get any state police or Androscoggin Sheriff to show up, so that I could paddle 30 feet down over that cliff, down onto the ice, onto the shore, to see what was going on, why this dog hung out there for what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? And it's like, well, did somebody walking by with their dog and slip and fall, and the dog's hanging out there because that person's down over that shore? Well, I had to go look, and I ain't doing it alone. So Jeff came, and he's more than happy to work with me and help me with stuff, and tied a rope around my neck, and I jumped.
It wasn't around your neck.
Felt it,
Well,
All right.
sounds like there's probably
Thank you.
a little bit of.
He couldn't pull me up. He was just there with a cell
Later on.
phone, and
Just start to come up.
we finally, I did manage to get Dan Devereaux and Paul, his assistant, for their clam wardens for Brunswick, and they have an airboat. So if I need them for a river thing or whatever, for somebody in the river or whatever, they're right there. And I got them right on speed dial, and they'll have that airboat to my assistance if I needed it. And they would have that day there. So I'm like, well, thank you for that. So they offered, and they got no problem going in one town or the other. You know, if it's to save somebody's life or whatever, you know, or to back me up to help me, so, which I thought was good.
Well, for now,
Fire department cover that?
Sometime.
I don't know who's covering, you guys are gonna cover it, because if they've got a bill for you, you take care of that.
From now on, just if you have any major problems, please show up at our meeting and find
Yeah.
out what it is, and
Yeah.
give us your report, at least quarterly if you could, a monthly would be great.
We talked about the money, you and I
Yeah.
have, I mean, it's just, I don't feel it's enough, you know,
Join the club with everybody else,
right, so,
including me.
you know, it's like, I don't know how what do I do to go up? And, you know, like, pick a number and then you guys decide or whatever, or something like that, or is there any room for that? I mean, if there isn't much room for it, I don't know how much I'm gonna hang on to that. So,
You pick a number, you present it to us, and we hash it over, and then ultimately the town makes the decision.
right, my wife's got the numbers and I'm like, well, her numbers are pretty low, and I'm like, come on, get up here with me, but
And you gotta get that to Ruth, because she needs to put it in the budget.
Right.
It needs to go in front of the town.
when is this budget thing, what is like?
Happening
Going on right
now.
now.
Now,
There's a copy of what I have so far, so any
As
changes
what
that
the
you wanna.
budget is,
Yep, any changes that you wanna,
and this gives the times and stuff when the budget is closed, or?
well,
What do we
we're
go? Yeah.
I've
hope
seen
to
this.
finish it next week, and then it'll go before the budget committee.
Oh, okay,
So I say if
So-
you can get something with you and your wife together and get it in by Tuesday
of next week,
of next week, it'd probably
Yeah.
help us quite a bit.
okay,
Monday would be better.
Monday would be good,
yeah,
but I was giving her an extra day. She's not
next
gonna.
Friday, you're closed Wednesday still, yep.
Yeah, so
Okay,
next Monday, yeah.
I'll give that some thought as to what we do there, but, you know,
But thank you.
it is a lot to this job. I mean, you know, I didn't know, I mean, I told you that, I said, I don't know what it's gonna take, I mean, $50, sure. Yeah, well, about a week of that, it was like, well, that wasn't quite right. You know, it's like, we didn't know, I mean.
Right, no.
I mean, have any of you seen anything about the courses for ACO or anything?
Yep, I looked them up.
You know, what that whole course was, that 4 days and the training, and then what's involved with it. I mean, I know there's a lot of paperwork, they tell you, this is the job of the ACO. Well, I'll tell you what, you can double that page and just keep adding some more to it. That's what I found.
One of the questions that came up last week when we started looking at these budget numbers is that, we had budgeted money in last year because you're required to do a certain number of continuing ed credits.
Yep.
And I don't have any idea if you did
I
them.
don't know what, I don't know.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't know if you did them or not, but
I
if
know-
you do
I know
them,
that
let us
course-
know so that you can get reimbursed for them.
Right, I haven't done that, but I've been in contact with Liam, the guy that does the ACO training course for ACO officers. And he was fine with it because a lot of stuff they showed there, you know, I already knew all that stuff, you know, like the whole farm thing with handling animals and stuff like that and tying them, you know, make a noose out of this or that. And it's like, yeah, I know how to hang them. So it's like to get them lashed down. So a lot of that stuff, and he was fine with it. But that course is a 4-day course, and you can go in on it any one of those 4 days, from what I understood. And it's $50 for the 4 days. So like a 1-day thing there might be $10. So it's
Just,
not
oh no, all I'm saying
you know,
is if
whatever
you do
my-
stuff, or if you see something that you
Right.
wanna go to,
Yeah,
let us know.
yeah,
so
and they
that we
said it
can-
could be anything, you know, it can be anything that would help me in my job,
Yep.
so, I mean, yeah, I gotta find something that, you know, just, you know, it's been almost 2 years now, so I gotta jump on something here,
Yep.
you know, before springtime or something like that.
Reporting.
You know, just an 8-hour course, and then, I'm sure they'll give me a certificate, which I can give to you guys. I don't know who actually really needs it, I don't know if it's you guys that need it, or is it Liam that needs it in Augusta?
Augusta.
Yeah, because they're the one that tell me, you're either an officer or you ain't an officer.
Right,
you
so
know,
they
I-
need, yeah, we
Right,
should
I get,
have a
I
copy
get
of it
the
on file,
certificate
but.
from them, so,
Right.
and
That's-
he's been fine letting me kinda run, so it's like, okay, so,
The only thing I think we need is copy, just have on file for
Yeah.
Right.
everybody asks.
right,
That's
yeah,
all.
yeah,
That's
so,
no big deal.
I'll get something in the works. I was thinking first aid, cause I took that years ago about CPR, and there's some stuff that with CPR now, it's not what I learned, you know, 20
No, it's
years ago.
completely different.
The 15-2 thing is not, no, it's a kick in the ass and a couple punches and you're ready to go. I really like my definition. Hey, don't bring any more dogs.
Well, thank you for coming in. It was
Thank you,
good
Pat.
to-
Get that to Ruth.
We'll put
next
some
week.
number, I'll put a number down on paper, we'll bring it in, I'll give it to Ruth.
Okay, we'll kick it around.
We'll see what we can do with it.
We'll kick it around.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay?
thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
You got any questions? Any more?
I have none.
Cal Ripken League.
What's
Thank
that?
you.
Kill it. Thank you.
Hey, Pat, before you run away, though, I wanna.
You gonna be entertaining as that?
Oh, no.
I like this.
pigs have you wrestled?
No, my kind of guy, though. Zero. I like it, I do. Straightforward, ain't no misunderstanding.
Yeah, I was just happy they weren't our pigs that were out.
I was wondering.
Not mine.
I always like
Mine are
that
about
straight
300
talk.
pounds,
I
not
love
70.
it, I love it.
Very, very well. Good job.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So,
The floor is yours.
so we, were looking over our lease with the town, and one of the stipulations with our lease was when we were getting ready to build the fields, we needed to present our thoughts to the select board, get approval on that. It's a 10-acre lot. There's that up in the top left corner there. There's the environmental scientists wanted to call it a vernal pool. It actually did not meet the definition of one, but it's a wet area that the Army Corps is forcing us to stay out of. So we lost a third of it. Ideally, what we're trying to do, you can see we've got the 4 fields on there. We're looking for 2 full-size Cal Ripken fields, and then we've got 2 smaller fields that we can use for T-ball. Right now, our league numbers vary up and down. We've been averaging about 4 T-ball teams a year, a couple rookies teams, and then minors and majors. So really, the 2 big fields is definitely a minimum, and the 2 little ones is really where we need to be. Since they built the new school, or since they started construction on that, our T-ball teams have actually been playing up at Shiloh, using the field there, just because we don't have the field space anywhere else in town anymore. So really, this is, what we're, it's a lot packed into a little bit of area for what, obviously we'd like to spread out, but with the wetlands that are out there, we're right up against the limit on what we can do with any more wetland impacts. We've tried to make our entrances so they're not directly across from anybody's house, hopefully minimize that issue. We've got enough parking for, it's basically a car per player. There's a pretty good amount of parking there. That's, what were we, right around 100 parking spots, I think. I don't know if you've, it was, it was initially cleared quite a few years back, and we actually fell into a pretty good deal with Sappy Paper, went through and took care of the rest of the clearing for us this fall.
And all that money you got from clearing, where'd that go? You guys got a fund, I guess?
What we got from Sappy, what was left when they did the clearing this fall was just all junk, kind of pulp stuff. They cleared it and didn't charge us anything. We didn't get anything for it. The initial clearing that happened a few years ago, I think we netted probably $10,000-$12,000. We've been holding on to that for when we get to this point.
What's your timeline for this project?
As soon as possible. Really, the viability of the league is really kind of hinging on this. It's kind of a catch-22 that we're put into, though. We've been talking to a couple contractors. We got a rough price here this week. They were estimating that'd be about $320,000 to put this in. Obviously, we don't have $320,000. There are a lot of grant programs and stuff like that out there, but as you guys know, we've had the property for like 10 years now, and it's slow getting it moving. So we're kind of in a catch-22 where we really can't apply for grants till we're really going for it. And we can't really, it's kind of hard to get some of the approvals done ahead of time before you can get the money up front. So I think we're, the goal is at a minimum to start getting some of this going, hopefully by summer. Hopefully work on some of these grants during the spring. My understanding is from here, we would need to also go to the planning board, present to them. We also need to get the permitting, and once we have the permitting in place is when we can really start getting the grants going. We wanted to make sure we presented to you guys in time so we can start getting that other stuff going.
Who's gonna fund all this?
It will be, Durham Youth Baseball will be doing the fundraising and working on grants. I know MLB actually has a grant, some of these other places. We have heard there's some interest from contractors for donating materials or
I'm asking that because you know the townspeople are gonna wanna know.
It-
if they're
it
gonna
will-
start paying. That's gonna
it
be-
will not be the town of Durham paying that, you know.
Well, as soon as you said 320,000, I was like, oh, not going in this budget.
No, it's not. So, and that's not the intent. The intent is that we will be getting money elsewhere.
Is this
for it.
just a summer league,
It's a spring league.
spring league? So you don't have access to the school fields at all?
It is dicey at best, to be honest. So, what we run into with there's the one softball field and then the baseball field. And what we're finding to be very problematic for our league is that all our stuff has to go through the RSU, which is not the easiest organization to deal with by any means.
Well, we don't pay them enough money.
No, it's not.
I mean, even for us to hold the clinic in the
Yeah,
town
give
of
more money.
Durham gym, we have to hire a custodian because we are not part of the school. And if we have a 3-hour clinic, we have to pay, it's like $40 an hour for 3 hours just to hold the clinic in the gym.
That's okay, we do too when we have an election. We
It's-
get a custodian bill.
It's a little ridiculous, but,
No, it's a lot ridiculous.
Bullshit.
okay, I agree, I was just trying to be nice.
I was just letting you know you weren't alone.
Yeah, so with the school fields, what we found out, and I've been president for like a year and a half, what we found out is even for the middle school teams, if there's something going on with the high school and the high school team needs a field, high school team automatically can bump the middle school team, no matter what's going on.
They don't have enough fields at Freeport.
Or like last year, no one was allowed on any of the fields until like almost the beginning of May. It was like it was either the last weekend in April.
How many fields they got down on, down the road there? I can't believe what road it's on.
Hunter.
Elm Road, yeah. Elmwood.
Yeah.
They have like 6, 7 fields down there.
Yeah, but so the school, you know, obviously the school teams have priority, which
Must
we
be nice. They come up here and rip our field up, so this.
yeah.
Now, will this be dedicated
I just see
to
what-
baseball fields, or can other Durham booster sports like the soccer teams and what have you, is there any capacity for using it other than just essentially April, May, and June?
Our
To derive some additional revenue for you guys to help defray the cost, that kind of thing?
our lease does have that it can be used for other uses that we feel are within the meet the needs of the field. With, you know, ideally, we'd like to see fencing and stuff like that go up, which makes it really tough to fit a soccer field or anything like that. So,
Absolutely.
but definitely we would entertain if there's other uses. You know, softball league has been growing exponentially from what I understand.
You guys would be more user-friendly.
We would definitely be one of the more user-friendly organizations around. So there's the potential, but you know, it's just trying to find the field space in Durham. What we ran into is, so we've been using the baseball field isn't really set up for, believe it or not, for our league. You know, that uses a full major league size diamond. So we've been using the softball field. Well, if the girls have a game, so we usually schedule the softball field for, I think, 6:30 and on, 5 nights a week, and then Saturdays, I think we've been using it. If the girls' game goes long, and we're kind of in trouble on that, especially when you got we play other towns, so when they come into play, and it's like, oh crap, we don't have a field. But if they have a schedule change, they aren't even very good about contacting us. I mean, we do hear eventually, but it is a challenge for us to schedule around for certain.
So for one more last time for what Mr. Blake was saying. So the town of Durham is not going to be on the hook for any of this taxpayers. That's because
Correct.
we just signed on a big field. RSU.
And it's not that the taxpayers would want to help, they could help if they want to come over and help and donate, but for us to ask to have it put in the budget after what
No.
we're paying for, I mean, I don't really want to get hung up to dry before I leave office.
All right. So what do you need from us tonight then?
I'm not
This is
exactly
just a
sure. This is
courtesy
tell us
go,
what's
this is what's
going
going
on,
on?
kind of.
Yeah, and I guess to figure out what the process is when, and it's kind of convenient that Todd's here in terms of what the planning board, what we need to do for any of that. Because obviously,
Been thinking about that, I'm not sure what we really need to do.
Well, I don't think there's anything, I think it has to go through those guys anyways, but
Right.
as far
Yeah,
as
we're not-
us.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that-
I think
that, you think?
as far, if your lease basically says you need to kind of get the blessing of the board or whatever,
Yep.
yeah, I think that's what he's here for.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't have any issues really with it, but I mean, as long as, you know, if you happen to have an adult softball league, guys or girls or mixed or whatever, and they
I'd
could
be
use
all
it when
for
you
it.
weren't using it, that's more my concern.
But that was my only question. I mean, if you're gonna sink 320,000 plus the cost of maintenance and what have you,
yep,
it would be nice if you could figure out other groups that
Yeah.
may contribute, so that it's more than just 3 months of the year. It's a lot of money to.
yeah. And we've tried in the past few years doing summer clinics and stuff like that, so we try to maintain some of that, just keeping the kids involved.
There's no actual buildings over here.
We are right in between the two big fields. We're planning on like a 24 by 24, 30 by 30 building that would contain a snack shack and storage.
You could have clinics there.
Well, that's more, it's,
Like where I like storage.
yeah, storage,
Okay.
you know, holding the equipment, uniforms, all that stuff, and then, of course, the RSU controls when you can get on the fields and when you can in terms of spring and whatnot, and
Gotta love it.
Must be
Yeah.
figuring on some bathrooms somewhere here.
we're figuring at this point, just because of the space that we have, just using porta potties.
Okay.
And actually, the design of a septic system there was actually more problematic than you would think, just because it's all based on number of people. Well, we have a high concentration for 3 months of the year, and then you're not using it at all. So the design of the septic system just doesn't really make sense there. So porta potty is definitely much
Well,
easier for
If
everyone.
it grows down the road, you could relook at that too.
Yes.
Porta potty gets you, they're fairly inexpensive for 3 months, really, you gotta have, even if you had to have two of them, so.
Can't cut a
Yeah.
boat ramp nowhere there, so.
Something
Right.
like that, probably work with. A little bit bigger one.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, I'm all set.
I'm all set.
No objection.
So I don't, those are your two guys you're gonna have to deal with probably in the next, so.
Yep.
You'll have to make appointments with them.
You know,
You guys are the next one.
You want these back?
No, you can hold on to that if you want.
thank you.
You wanted extra copies for the planning board, you're welcome to them.
No, we're-
Speaking, planning board,
I'd like to propose a money-making deal,
We like that. We like that.
is send a videographer around with an animal control officer and make bank.
start our Facebook page,
Start our own show.
Durham Animal
Our
Falls.
YouTube channel.
I don't
Yeah.
think he's exaggerating any of it either.
No, I don't think it's.
Oh, no, that's what it is, that's straight up, that's what you see, is
That's
what you
straight
get.
up. yeah.
There ain't no, if you misunderstood anything he said tonight, you was sleeping.
No, I understood everything. Love to see that video of the pig farm.
What do we got?
Well, the planning board discussed at our last ordinance meeting the possibility of prohibiting retail marijuana establishments and social clubs in the town. We don't think that it will ever be. I know the state has got a moratorium until next February, but our town meeting's coming up in April. And I think we'd be better off to get ahead of it and just have a state, town-wide moratorium on establishments and social clubs. We don't think it's in the character of town of Durham, or it ever will be.
So rather than a moratorium, you're talking about a prohibition.
Prohibition, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you can. I mean,
Well,
MMA says we can.
we can try, but I mean, if this, it
Depends
depends
on-
on what the state ends up, the final enactment, whether they
Well,
allow that, right?
Several towns have already done it. It's like the fireworks ordinance.
Well,
That's
it all depends on what the
Right,
what the
the
final
original-
thing that comes out of the state, whether they will allow you to have a full,
Right, the
full ban.
original,
Full
my
prohibition.
understanding of the original draft as proposed in the referendum allowed towns to opt out, essentially.
But whether or not that is the final language that comes out remains,
Well,
remains to be seen, and whether or not it's something that the town would approve.
right, it should go to the town
Meaning is
voters,
also
right?
a different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's, what you're looking for us to do is make sure it gets put on the warrant
Yeah,
to vote, yeah.
yeah, yeah, we can vote on it. People don't feel my other main concern is, we have no police force.
Right.
And something like this, it would be, I would think, problematic
I
at
don't
some
want
point.
to talk about that too much.
That's right.
Not right now.
More video in it. Damn.
Okay, so we can discuss putting this on the warrant. We'll need a public hearing ahead of time. Were there other ordinance changes that are
Yeah,
coming up?
We're
So,
gonna have a warrant, we're gonna have a hearing too, so.
so we're gonna need all the
Yeah.
ordinance changes to get onto the warrant too, so
Yeah.
at some point, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to have a hearing fairly soon. At our next planning board meeting, we'll probably set up a meeting, hearing.
Make sure we get it within whatever the time frame is. 'cause
Absolutely.
Yeah.
10 days, I think, 10 to
It's,
14 days.
it's only 10. Okay.
Yep.
Without the tri-town now, though, it's a little easier because you got to put it in the daily papers
Mm.
as opposed to,
Yeah.
so it's just a day ahead or so.
That's all I had.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Are we gonna do that to the end, or are we gonna do that one right now?
I'm gonna skip to 3, to E.
All right, thank
Yeah.
you.
So I have a letter here from Selectman Libby. It is with great regret that I write this email to inform you of my decision to step down from the Board of Selectmen. I've given the matter careful consideration and feel it's best for the town that I do this in time for someone to get elected for the last year of the term. While it may be too late for an interested party to take out and submit papers to get on the ballot, I myself was elected in my first term as a write-in candidate. Certainly, an interested party would have time to get the word out that they are running. The decision is in large part due to commitments to my employer and my career. I have 3 major exams I need to pass this year. The first needs to be done before March. This will take much of my time as there will be much studying involved, and with a new child as well as other family considerations, it's going to be a challenge. And and he closes up as, I'm sorry to call it quits in the middle of the budget season. I do need to make studying a priority. I can be reached by cell phone if there are questions or on any of the upgrades or if anything else with the network is needed. I do think we should address the other paragraph there. On taking a vote, he's asking to be able to keep his email, building security code, and I assume keys so he can get in, due to some ongoing projects with the network and stuff,
Yeah,
so.
he does a lot of that.
So
IT stuff.
I will actually make a motion that he can keep those items and the security code and so on until such time as,
Ruth says.
yeah, as they're done with all that, so.
Yep.
So that was a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. I also will make a motion, I'm not sure exactly that because we don't accept a resignation of a Board of Selectmen because the board doesn't elect them and so on, but that we receive his resignation with regret.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. All right, I'm gonna skip down, departments and committees under fire chief. He submitted a report, but he has a request, that we accept a grant, the purchase price for forestry pants of $2,540, and the grant would reimburse us for 50% of the purchase. The other, and he's asking that it be authorized through the grant match. So we would be authorizing $2,540 from the grant match. Half of that would be reimbursed after the purchase. Is there anybody want to put in a motion on that?
I thought that was your motion.
No, I was mentioning he's asking for us to approve.
Right, the grant request was for 10 portable radios and 20 pairs of forestry pants, and the forestry pants portion of the grant was approved. I don't even know what forestry pants are, quite frankly.
I don't.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Motion carries. Code enforcement, do you have anything pressing for tonight?
There's a couple of things I'd like to cover.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance.
I guess you could take this home and read it in your own time if you'd like. I'll give you a summary on it. First things first, I wanted to discuss with you guys is, I was talking to the chief about this, the fire chief, earlier in the week. I wanted to request of you that anybody who has a house fire in town where their house is destroyed and they need to reconstruct and want to reconstruct their house in town, that we waive the fees for the building permits that are under town control. They'll still have to do the state plumbing permit. But electrical permits and building permits, we could waive the fee on. The inspections will still need to occur. They'll still need to have the permits. They just won't pay the fee. I think it'd be a good thing to do for folks that have suffered significant loss without having to try to reconstruct and wind up having to pay the fees on. So if we could make that, I'm assuming in order to do that, you guys are gonna have to vote on that request, but I think I would also like to include the house just up the corner here that burned a couple of weeks ago. They just pulled permits last week for that. I'd like to reimburse the permit fee for that to be included in this exemption. So, I don't know if you want to vote on that tonight or you want to talk about it. The main flagpole down at the War Memorial Park has suffered some structural damage. It's going to need to get assessed in the spring to see if it needs to be taken down and reset. It's running at about a 3-degree list angle right now. If you go and shake the pole, the concrete and the ground moves with it. So we'll have to get an assessment of that once the frost is out of the ground and get a look at it. My assumption is at least that pole is going to have to come down and be reset. And if that's the case, it might be worth taking both the tall ones down. I think we need to get an evaluation as to just exactly what size flag needs to hang on those. We had 2 flags on those, and in that high wind storm, it was more than that pole could take. Now, I don't know if it was a footing problem or exactly what it was. The one flag, the American flag, was destroyed in that situation. The rope broke, finally. So we need to get an assessment of that.
Do we know how deep that pole is?
I have it in the file from when they did the work. It's down probably 2.5 feet.
Yeah, I think it's 2.5 feet in concrete, and there's a base underneath that.
I kind of questioned that when we got started because I didn't feel it was deep enough for frost protection, but Joe went with the recommendations by the pole manufacturer that had issued the installation instructions, and they followed those instructions, so I didn't require it to go any deeper. But I think if they're going to be replaced, they need to go deeper, and it shouldn't be a round support. It should be a rectangular support.
Yeah, we should probably, I mean, if that's their recommendations, but geez, I would think anything like that, you want a minimum 4 feet. That's-
Yeah,
and
well, that
depends
was
on
my
height of the
assumption.
pole might go 5.
Yeah, that was my assumption, but the rectangular columns have a lot more lateral support than round columns, sonotubes. Part of the other problem with sonotubes is if the cardboard's still on them in freeze-thaw situations, they absorb a lot of water, they freeze, they move, they freeze, they move. Anybody's seen a deck with sonotubes on it, the sonotubes are all sitting at an angle, or they start working themselves up out of the ground, and it has to do with the ice grip in the cardboard with the water in it as it freezes and moving them around. So it's not the best option. In this particular case, it might have been fine, but that storm really did do that one in. So I think it'd be good to get a look at that.
I can pull the manufacturer's brochure there too and find out on the flag size. I'm sure Justin still has that information in his
Okay.
workbook.
So the other thing that I've been doing, one of the most interesting parts of what I've been doing lately is if you look on the 3rd page of the stuff I gave you, Ruth had put together some housing information when the houses that are on the tax rolls were built in town, and provided it to the Historical District Commission, and I started mining that data. And it gets pretty interesting after 1970. Growth's kind of funny in the town of Durham. We talked about it before. It seemed to have stopped around 1880, picked up again around 1946. But the anomalies that show up in the last 40 years, in particular, I believe are related to I-295, the highway. Transportation system for Durham to become a bedroom community had been put in place. Since that time period, starting in the decade between 1970 and 1980, we're running about 220 homes in that 10-year period. In the last 4 decades after that, we're running right near 250 to 300 homes a year. I mean, within a 10-year period. This year followed suit. We've done right around 25 or 30 homes. The reason that I'm bringing this forward, there's a couple of reasons I'm bringing this forward. One significant thing that happened this year is a fairly substantial amount of the subdivision inventory in town was absorbed. Once the subdivisions are done, there have been no new subdivisions in town because of the restrictions on permitting and subdivisions. At that point, all of the growth, which is substantial in Durham, more so than almost anywhere else around us, is going to be focused on town roads. 300 feet for a housing lot on town roads. At 30 houses a year times 300 feet is almost 2 miles of rural roadside per year is going to be absorbed in lawns and mailboxes and driveways. I did a map from some of the GIS work that I've done in the available lots in town on town roads. So 10-year period, you're losing 17.5 miles of rural road. And if the town wants to stay rural character, that's a problem. That's a significant problem in my mind. I don't get to make these decisions. And the mapping that I did states that the available buildable lots in the town of Durham are likely to be consumed within the next 30 years. The next 15 years, not the next 30 years, the next 10 to 15 years, at 300 to 450 houses, times 300 feet per lot. Start picking roadsides, and you pretty much have used up the available inventory. Our ordinance doesn't allow for additional revenue streams. It's very unfriendly to business. It's completely restrictive to subdivision. The entirety of your tax base is going to be on residential property taxes. And you're going to be facing significant property tax increase year after year after year. If you can't increase your revenue, your existing customers are the only place you get to go for money. In my mind, it's part of the reason I think that the previous comp plan really did try to specify the need for a town planner to get involved in the way the town's developing, so that you can plot these types of trends and how they get to play out over time and try to short circuit some of this stuff. I think it would be really good for the board to try to figure out how they want to approach moving forward with both the comp plan and ordinances to see what they can do about future revenue. It doesn't paint a pretty picture. It's not unique.
So, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding. So part of the reason is because our subdivision ordinances are so restrictive.
Well, if you look at...
It's difficult to put in subdivisions and sort of take the pressure off the main town roads and create...
There's 2 parts to that, and that's part of it. Yes, you relieve the pressure on the town roads so that the rural character of town can be maintained as long as possible. And the other thing is just a matter of supply and demand. The more available buildable lots in town, things
Absolutely.
Manage to stay,
You can
they
spread the
sort of,
tax base.
right, they stay with each other. You have the opportunity with subdivisions to start to work on increasing residential density. So you can do smaller lots. You can, if you go by a subdivision road, the only thing you see is a road. You don't see 15 houses, you see a road. And oftentimes the first lots are kept off the main road, so really, unless you go down there, there's really not much to see. So it's a difficult thing to do, but some of this stuff has got to be looked at here in the near future if anybody ever hopes to get to the point of having reasonable tax base in town and spendable income. Because the other way, see, Durham's in a tough spot. You don't have a coastal region. You can't, do quadruple charges along the ocean front to offset the other costs in town for whatever it is that you have. You don't have a Sebago Lake, you don't have a recreational zone, you don't really have any other.
We don't have a
thing.
downtown.
You're right.
Let alone all those other things.
Right, and in your ordinance, you couldn't do a downtown. You couldn't build a downtown. You couldn't create it.
Now, are these issues that, I guess I would anticipate that these are things that the comprehensive plan committee would be looking at. That's kind of the
What they were
one of
things
the
that
driving ideas behind, in my mind, behind.
So here's the
comprehensive
issue for me. The previous comp plan addressed a lot of this stuff, but the implementation lies here. All right? If it doesn't get implemented, if the ordinances don't correspond to the comp plan as it was presented, if someone isn't tracking what's happening today through the year and then bringing it back in the spring and say, okay, this is where we plan to go, this is where we wound up, this is where we need to adjust, you really don't have planned growth. And the state SBO's office significant response to not certifying your last comp plan was because of the fact that you didn't relieve population growth in the rural district. The growth district was created under that, but the lot sizes are the same in square footage and only 50 feet less road frontage. There's no significant reason for anybody to move into the growth district if all of the valuable land is along Lisbon, Topsom, Brunswick, Freeport line. And if you look at your town map, that's where all your growth density has been over the last 20 or 30 years. It's going to continue to be pressured there. So if you can't plan this stuff, if you can't look at trends, you can't understand what's happening, it's really difficult to explain to folks that feel their property taxes are out of control. But the people are moving to town because you have a great school and low property taxes. Your property values are low. They're coming here because this looks like it's a great buy. The folks that are living here are screaming because their taxes keep going up. You're in a cul-de-sac, I don't know how you get out of. But if it isn't looked at from that perspective and help somehow, whether you hire planning, work on some of this development, try to look at how to broaden your revenue base. And I'm not saying subdivisions is the answer. Business relief would be great. You know, I didn't make any of these laws. I don't know where they came from, and I don't know what people had in mind. There's a lot of folks in town want no growth. And you can do no growth. But if you do no growth, every time something comes in that needs to get paid for, everybody has to pay for it.
Yeah, you gotta be prepared to pay for it.
Right, and you're gonna wind up rolling this thing over. So, and you can't catch up with the costs. Your road costs alone in town exceed your property tax evaluation. To try to repair all the roads in town, you're 10 years paying for that, and that's if you pay for nothing else. So, I'm not saying my figures are dead on. I think it's stuff that needs to get looked at, and I think it should be the things that are in conversation with this board about where you want to be in the future and how it is that you can get help to figure out how to get there. If tax relief is what you want and not double-digit tax increases, something's got to give, and I don't know what.
And would there be, and I guess this is probably more directed at you, Todd, do you think there would be some value to having the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board maybe sit down in a workshop and talk about some of this stuff? Because we're kind of both going about our business, but we're not really
and the comp
working
plan
together.
committee also, because the comp plan is gonna
steer the
detail
direction, right?
what is gonna go with in the future with the ordinances. I agree. The 5-lot subdivisions in rural residential has hurt growth in this town. The way we treat commercial projects has really hurt this town. There's one reason why LL Bean drives through our town to go to Lewiston. They could have built a warehouse here if we had welcomed them.
The current ordinance doesn't allow for commercial development that can be seen within 1,000 feet of a residential structure from the tallest floor of the residential structure. So when you're standing on the tallest floor of a 2-story building with bedrooms on the 3rd floor, you can't see that business for 1,000 feet.
So it's almost a
Except
half
for
mile.
what, in the business growth
a
district?
half-mile
or in
circle.
that, like,
Anywhere in town.
Well, people can see the get and go from their house.
Well, you get and go predate some of this stuff. But you could not build a get and go today. You would have to screen it, it has to be set back 100 feet from any side set line or road. It has to be fully screened from view. You know, this is,
That was a replacement also.
I don't, so the thing for me is this, if that's really what people want in town, then taxes is what pays for it. If you just want a rural community with no growth, every expense that comes to the door gets applied to the only customers you have, which are the ones that are here, and it's gonna be double digit, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I don't know that people are making the decision based on that type of information. I understand the intent to not want the town to change, to just want good old Durham to be good old Durham. I understand the intent to not want to have to be out of control with taxes and not really understanding what spending is going on. But I think the mindset that comes out of this is that the money that comes into town from taxes is being misspent. It's being abused, it's being used inconsiderately, and it's not. You just can't control any other way to increase your capacity to sustain the financial responsibilities of the town except through taxes.
I agree.
And
I've said it for years. You can't keep asking for the things that people ask for and expect tax dollars to pay for it without.
Well, this
having
is not
businesses.
asking for
Well,
anything
and
more. This
also-
is a static situation.
I don't think the vast majority of people necessarily understand how restrictive those ordinances are. Because I hear people talking all the time about wanting business growth and how do we encourage business growth and those kinds of things, but
I think they do now. I think you hear more of that now. But I know back when that was all looked at quite a few years ago, that was the thing. It was a bedroom town. People moved here. A lot of people moved here specifically because they had school choice. They could have to send their kids wherever they wanted to, and they didn't really have to pay a lot for that. And that was a big push. We don't want business. We don't want business. And I said back then, you ain't gonna do this forever, because now this is where we are. So we have to look at, somebody said there wasn't enough power in town, but there's plenty of power. It's right at Southwest Bend. And
There
they
is
put
now.
power up all the time.
There
So
is
it's-
now, we've got the school here. Now we
Right.
have real-
So it's, that shouldn't be an issue, so that's really some of the things we should be looking at, I think. You really, ideally, what you want is somebody who pays higher taxes and use very little amenities, because we don't have any amenities. For starting,
And I'm not talking about
you're looking
people.
for high-end senior housing, aren't you?
I'm not talking people looking for the town to do more. I'm talking just the town doesn't do anything other than what it's doing right now. You're double digit.
Well, the town doesn't do anything but fix roads, and we're double digit with not even the operating or the fire department or anything else. Just straight up roads alone are more.
Well, the necessity for planning and somehow utilizing the intent of the previous comp plan to specifically look at that particular issue and how it affects the tax base and the ability for town to grow in the way it wants. I think your window for capitalizing on that is closing fast. I can show you the map if you get a chance sometime and you want to come in the office. I took the map I did of Durham with all the parcels, and I took 300 by 300 foot lots, which is 90,000 square feet, and I started dotting the roadsides. And I haven't quite finished out a 10-year period, but I'm pretty sure you're not gonna make 15 with the current inventory. Something's gotta give, or you're
And
done.
in real numbers, you're much less than that because people aren't going to sell off their land.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
and then
Well,
you
but
got your
then
back-
you, but
finding
see,
a
okay, so
backlog
then you,
problem.
so this is the other part that comes into play, and this is where it gets really complicated, so people don't wanna sell off their land, so there's not much available, so the prices start going up. And then the property values in town start to creep up to the same or similar areas in Freeport and Yarmouth and various other places. All the folks our age are gonna look at the 2 lots they've been holding next door and sell them. So you can't develop ordinance that tells the folks in the rural district that they can't sell their property. You'll never get it by town vote, because those guys are going, that's my retirement right there. I've been paying taxes on that for 30 years. You can't
We
take
have
that
people in
from
town,
me.
that's exactly what they're doing.
I know,
Yeah.
and probably rightly so.
Yeah, agreed.
So the only way to deal with it is to relieve pressure in certain areas so that the inventory stays available and the property evaluations don't skyrocket. You're in it's a catch-22 here, one way or the other. You've got to find a source of revenue.
So what do you propose?
You need a town planner. And it's been 10 years, coming to the trough on that one. It should have been done 10 years ago. You need someone who can track this type of information, the trends year by year. And you're a programmer, right, Jeffrey? Do you know what PID programming is? There's a type of programming that they use specifically. It works really well for modeling machine use. you calculate where you want to go with a particular machine. So you say it's your cruise control on your car. You're going to get on the highway, you want to hit 50, okay? So you hit the button and it heads up for 50. Goes really fast. Hits the 50 mark at full acceleration, then starts to slow down. So you go 60, 40, 60, 40, bounces around a lot, all right? That's the proportional part of PID programming. The integral part of PID programming takes the reaction from that and starts to base it on a curve rather than high, low, high, low. It starts to try to level it off sooner. The derivative part of PID programming is where it takes that information once you got to where you're going and it reassesses how it did based on what you had told it you wanted to do, and it brings it back around and readjusts the input parameters to try to get you there. So the idea with a planner is that annually with the planning board is to sit down and look at where are we going, how are we doing, where are we going, how are we doing, what do we adjust this year, and make recommendations to the board to bring it to town meeting that our ordinance need to adjust in these ways because we're not getting what we want. The whole series of things, but someone's got to have their finger on the button paying attention to what's going through. And nobody's doing that because it's been nobody's task. If you look at my job description, it's not mine either. This is me just paying attention, okay? I encourage you to look at what I've given you. I encourage you to look at the ordinances. I encourage you to look in to make sure that there's some accuracy in what you think I've provided for you and that my assumptions could possibly be correct. The two parts in that graph, in the housing graph, that are difficult to assess are the last 20 years, from 2000 to 2010 and 2010 to 2020. The reason I say that is because 2008, 2009, and 2010 were a severe housing recession. 3 years of that 290 housings in the decade were years of almost no housing. Okay, 6 years of the next decade have been almost no housing. So those figures are anomalies. So it wouldn't surprise me if somewhere at 220, it jumps much higher, and the next decade, it jumps again even higher, because the pressure here
Well,
is on.
even today, I believe it was today that the Maine Association of Realtors released their 2016 figures and indicated that 2016 housing sales were their highest year since they started keeping records.
Correct. The pressure from the growth coming north around Portland, it starts in Boston. You do the Boston-DC corridor, and there's this radiating ring. As the population continues to expand in those areas, it continues to move north. The other anomaly you get in Maine is the fact that there's a lot of folks in the northern Maine regions that are leaving those towns. They're not all leaving Maine. A lot of them are coming to the southern portions of Maine to work. So you're getting it from both directions as far as growth pressure. And you guys are in the next wave, and it's here.
Just out of curiosity, this is number of new homes. I'm assuming it's probably based on permits or something. Do we have an idea of number of net homes, the net home growth? Because some of these could be replacing other, and things like that. We don't know net, do we?
As far as I know, these are all current.
They're new constructions, they're not tear down and rebuilds.
See, that's what I mean by
Because
net.
what goes
Somebody
these
replacing
are,
a house.
These are not based on permits. These are based on the tax rolls. So if you have a house that's been burned down and replaced or torn down and replaced, the house is still noticed on the tax rolls as one structure.
Okay.
That doesn't come into play.
Okay, because I was just doing a rough count from 1970 to now, and it's like probably around 1,300 roughly. And if I remember correctly from CMP, they say there's about 1,850 households in town.
Yeah, that's about right. And everything beyond that 1,300 was for the 200 years previous. There are 188 homes on put on the tax rolls from 1794 to about 2000. From 2000 to 1945, there were additional 32 homes. So I told you, driving around, you look at the architecture in town, nothing was built here from the turn of the century to the Second World War. And most of it's because they all moved to the mill communities to work.
And the railroad didn't come through.
What's that?
And the railroad didn't come through.
Among other things.
When you read the history of Durham, such and such was put in, but it didn't go through Durham. And then the railroad came in and it
So,
didn't go through.
Yeah, I know you guys are in a budget season, and I know it's a really stressful thing. It's incredibly stressful for the employees because we feel like we're intensely under the gun to not get a dime for anything, and we get every single complaint that comes through the door, we get it front and center. And there's folks that you have in here in these offices that work really, really, really hard for the town, and we don't get paid a lot. It'd be nice to look at having an opportunity in the future to sort of make up for a little bit of that ground. And that means revenue. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Actually, this might be a good time to bring up as informational, because the Comprehensive Plan Committee has a meeting next Tuesday evening, right?
Yes,
Visioning.
it's a
What-
visioning meeting.
What time?
6, hold on, the flyer's right up here. Yeah, 6:30 to 8:30, it's at the Durham Community School
Okay,
in the cafeteria.
in the cafeteria, so, if you're
What day
looking,
is that?
this is basic,
Next Tuesday night.
this is,
be
looking
busy.
for input from the town?
Yep, this is a visioning meeting. This is where they're gonna start talking to the people and find out what we're thinking.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything much for a report, or that you need to report, or, okay? Anything from you?
I'm okay.
Okay, so I think we'll go into the budget discussions, and what I understand, we're gonna go with the Public Works right now. Thank you for coming in, Todd.
Yep, thank you guys.
We're gonna have one too many because Jill's not here. Jill's not here.
Who's not here?
Jill.
Jill, no.
One too many of those then.
Okay, I'll give one to her. I have a little
We'll use
pile.
your copy,
Actually, is this the same thing you gave me? So I don't need it.
Alright, here we go.
Okay, so, I think we'll try to work down through
Rules?
our regular sheet, and when we get to something that needs to be broken out, we can look at yours.
Okay.
So, as far as the personnel, under the raised pool, I just want to know what your thought is on, where the number came from, just so that when we get into discussing, personnel stuff.
What's the percentage?
I think it was a 2% rate.
Okay.
2%.
It is, okay.
All right, thank you.
Those maps of
And it
100.
doesn't include Calvin, because Calvin is already in there.
Which is it also 2%?
Yeah.
Everything's 2%.
Okay.
So we want to do 5%.
No. Next.
So, a question for why is FICA going up so much when we're only looking at a $4,700 increase in salaries, and last year we only spent $14,000, and FICA's actually going up more than our increase in
FICA
salaries.
includes Maine PERS and FICA, and
Okay.
Maine PERS is actually
All
going
right,
up
thank
this
you.
year. It may not be the 18,000. I may be able to lower that somewhat because
Well, main
our
retirement.
part-time people don't get Maine PERS.
Okay, so that explains it, thank you. It used to be, did it used to be separate, or separated in some budgets, right?
No,
No, okay,
not from what I've seen.
okay. Medicare makes sense. Health insurance, and that's just is that just the regular increase, or
That's the regular increase.
okay, I wasn't sure if we picked up, with the employee changes, whether somebody took an extra, no. And workers' comp, we've already discussed that. It's actually going down from what we spent last year, huh?
That's because the extra money that we owed from the 2015 year.
Okay.
And I did do an audit, and I'm coming up with that we won't owe additional money this year.
Okay. Utilities, heat and electric. You spent 10,005, you're asking 14,800.
What's the increase there, you feel?
Let's see, I cut the CMP bill from 7 to 6.
Because you're asking for more.
You're asking more than you spent, or are you trying to come in on a target slowly on that or something? Because we budgeted 18,000 last year, but we only spent 10,500.
Right, and the breakdown's on the other page. I mean, oil prices have gone up. They were very low for a period of time last year.
We're locked in on that now, right?
But only for the number 2 oil, not for his.
Not for his
Well,
heat.
yes, for the number 2 oil, we're
Yeah,
locked in.
we're
But only
locked.
till the end of the season.
So we were at 18,310 last year, it was
Yep.
approved, and we spent 10,594, and I'm asking for 14. So if you go back over to the left column, second one in, that total, those items total that 14,810. If you go down those, you can compare those numbers to what was approved in 16 and what we spent in 16. So I cut the CMP to 6,000.
Oh, yeah, I see,
Fairpoint stayed the same. Comcast stays the same.
Cut heating oil and you cut
I
propane.
cut propane. I cut heating oil.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So that's just the total what it comes out to. And
No, I came up with it.
I mean, I don't want to base this on last year because we had a warm winter.
Right, so you cut, like for heating oil, you cut 2,000 from what you asked for last year.
Yep.
But you're judging that you might use more this year, so.
Right. Oh, no,
Well, and it looks like you also moved the cell phone stipends into that utility line. They had been in a different line.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
They did get expensed into a different line, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so, all right,
Because
thank you.
that absorbs, I think, some of that.
Yep. Communications.
We had 800
Yeah.
approved last year. I spent 1110, and so I'm looking for 12.
Oh, is this where the
You got me thrown off.
cell phones got
Yeah,
moved out
that's
of?
where the cell phones were.
Okay, thank you. That explains why there's the difference there. Yeah. Okay. Equipment maintenance.
My next one is bond payments. Do we want to skip that one, or just skip the bond
We're
payments?
trying,
Okay.
we're trying to go down through that list there, just,
Okay, so where were
4,000.
we're on 4,000, yeah, equipment maintenance.
1,000? Okay, so equipment maintenance, vehicle equipment maintenance. We had 41.5 approved. Spent 28,875.
That was,
No.
2015.
You spent 32,071.
Yeah, next one over is 2016.
You gotta go on the other seat. You're gonna get yourself screwed up.
Okay, where are you? 4,000.
We are, yeah.
You expended 32,000, a little over.
Mhm.
You used.
Yeah, on your sheet, you had the wrong 2016 spend.
I did.
Well, it's different than what I had.
I thought I took it right off that trio sheet.
You probably went to the wrong column, because the numbers that you said were 2015.
Okay, I must have grabbed it off the wrong column then. Okay, so we spent, yours is,
32,071.
okay, I was wondering, I thought that was, okay, so I'm looking for 38. We added the JD link, that is the 1,500, well, there's your breakdown in that second column over. So we added the JD Link for 1,500. That's what tells me everything that's going on with the equipment.
Was that part of your expenses? Did you pay this last year as part of your expenses?
No, they had the Freightliner last year.
Okay.
Didn't have the JD Link.
Okay.
Now, the Freightliner Diagnostics, that 1,500, is that an annual cost?
Yes.
Okay.
I think,
And is the JD Link, will that be a $1,500 annual?
I think I just paid that bill. Actually, it was $1,531
So,
for the JD Link.
let's see.
You paid that in December, but it would come up next December again.
Just had a question on this one. I'm looking back through and 3 years ago, we spent 35,000, 2 years, 26, this year 32. We're asking 38 if we take into consideration the extra 1,500 or something like that. If we back this to 36, would that give you enough? We have 3 new trucks instead of 2 now. Hopefully your equipment, your repairs may go down a little bit or something, but I'm asking the question. I'm not.
Okay, so
The trucks are older, they may go up too.
Some of the truck, but we replaced one of the old
Right.
trucks, and I mean,
but the trucks we have are a year older, and they've
Yeah.
been through another year of
so
severe use.
It's not that I don't wanna cut it, I just don't wanna cut it too short.
All right, so let's see, 4,000. So vehicle equipment.
Yeah, your history has been only, the highest you had was 35,000.
That's why I was-
26, 32. That's why Jeff was at 36.
that's why I was asking, giving you an extra 1,000 over anything that you've spent in the last 3 years. But
You want to go to 36?
is that going to handicap you?
I have no idea. It's when it comes to fixing equipment, we never know what's going to break. We just have to have a number, and all we can do is kind of an average of
So we're gonna be running, what, 4 old trucks next year?
4 or 5 with the spare. Let's see.
I thought we had
seven. So
seven.
that'd be 4, yeah.
So yeah,
Plus the spare, yeah.
yeah. So we're running 3 plus the spare. Yeah.
Right.
And we've got 3 newer ones now.
How do you feel about them?
The new ones?
No, the old
36.
ones.
36. Oh, the old ones. The old ones, they've got some issues. Well, just they're another year of salt, another year of rust, and we're looking for stuff to weld to. So
I don't have any problems cutting it 2,000 if you think, again, I just don't wanna be caught.
you want to go to
short.
36? We can go to 36.
Yeah, let's go
Now,
36.
this is summer maintenance, so this really doesn't affect the old plow trucks anyway. That's
Right.
more falls under winter maintenance.
Okay.
I take out of winter maintenance comes those older trucks. You want to go 36? We'll do.
Okay.
I mean, that's basically what you do. You look at what you've spent in the past, and I've asked the mechanic if we have any expected upcoming major
Yep.
things, and he couldn't think of any. So
Okay. So rental equipment.
Why the $3,000 credit in rental
Yeah,
equipment?
that's what I was going to ask.
and rental going. Well, that's not actually a $3,000 credit. That was a mistake.
It's a credit.
It's a
And the reason it was a credit was because we shared a lawnmower with Pownell.
Oh, that's
And
right,
we
yes, right.
forgot to invoice it in 2015, so it got invoiced in 2016, and that's why so they paid us for an expense that was in 2000.
What was the actual expended this year then for that line?
Nothing.
0.
We didn't rent anything.
And do you have plans to?
Yeah. Well. Yeah, they're planning to do the roadside mowing.
Roads,
and
okay.
And I'd like to do some ditching with a hoe ram to get some of our ditches working on some of our side roads that are holding water. And
All right. So, and we didn't do roadside. Did we do roadside mowing this year? Okay, so we probably
Right, you had said
shouldn't
that
go
you
through-
didn't feel like it needed to be done every year.
every year, I didn't think it needed.
Okay.
it. So that line the year before was what was it? 13,000 or. That's why I wanted these to match. So I could follow. I could follow them right
Sorry,
down.
Calvin.
Roads, rental equipment right here is 20, 15, 13. Yep, so.
And, okay, so at 13 and Pownell reimbursed us for 3,000 of it or so, okay. All right, that explains.
This one's facility maintenance. I said we had a big jump there.
That is because, well, the $5,047 was for the roof. I mean, what we spent.
Oh, that's right, because we had to spend some out of the budget. We didn't have enough out of the bond.
Oh, yeah, for the.
I understand that.
So when you deduct that out, if you look at the blue, the top line on the second page, you'll see that $12,165.91
Yep.
minus the roofing of 5,400. It comes up to 7118.
Okay.
18. So that's what we actually spent.
And
Take out the roof.
And you're adding the extra 2,800 to do a garage door?
2,800 over here was the salt shed door.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah, you had added salt, okay, so you're wanting to replace the door, or is it replacement, or is it adding?
I've got a feeling it's gonna be a replacement.
Okay. Well, so there's one already there.
Yep, but it's just, there's nothing left. of it,
Okay,
so.
I wasn't sure if we were putting a garage door that wasn't there before, or if we're, okay, so we're
We
replacing.
can't really close it. We found a dead animal in the sand.
On this
What that was, but he
On
couldn't
this-
get back up over the hill.
septic system here you have, needs to be pumped and possibly serviced.
Yep.
You have 500 down, why so much?
Well, I don't know what size tank that is. I'm assuming that's commercial.
1,000-gallon tank.
I think it's 1,000.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know what he put a system in it, what size tank he put in there, and I don't know if it's got filters or what it's gonna need.
What is
So-
it, 250 to pump
I
usually?
think they're around 300 now, isn't it?
And then if you have to do anything like filters or stuff like that.
Any filters or any other type of baffles falling off the
Yeah,
tank?
just asking.
Okay.
So that really has got to get done, because I have no records. In fact, the septic, I think that shows it's in there, isn't even in there, and
So next one is training and professional development. You only spent 600, but are you looking to have more classes, or have the employees attend more classes? This is 14.
because
14.
a lot of what happened, was like, we should have gotten a lot more done, and I'm hoping to definitely get it done this year, is, we wanted to give Ron some classes.
Yeah, we had that up, we had that discussion.
Sounds good.
So I'd like to, I think we really should be hitting that mark, so.
Okay. Signs, looks like you're planning to do a mass replacement on signs or something?
Well, the 2,500 was for the one I showed you the picture of, Welcome to Durham.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
fine.
That's
2,500.
And that basically covers all but 500, because you spent over
2,000.
Yeah, so
Really, probably you could see that going higher, so.
Right, did that include the stencils, the stop ahead stenciling as well? Or
No.
was that in the safety?
That
line or
was
something?
under safety. That would be under operational supplies. Actually, it probably would come under flag, it probably would come under a new line that I put in under paving, for striping.
I see you have a note here, new code regulations for private road signs. Is that another change to them? Okay.
That's the same note from last year.
Same, okay.
That's why we end up buying a lot of signs, so.
Yep. Safety equipment, you're asking 1,000 more than you,
300,
300 more than you spent.
we spent, yeah.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Administrative supplies.
So I added the.
You're asking 500 more than you spent, yeah.
I added $450 for the Greater Portland Council of Government's bid fee for the salt.
Okay.
They charged us, that bill came in, and I had no place to put it. That's where it should have gone, so.
Yep. Thank you. Minor equipment.
I see you've been spending 4,000 right along.
Or between 3 and 4, yeah. Okay. fuel account, that's gasoline and diesel. So you, 21,000 more than we spent last year. Is that because you're,
I just picked the same number, and I don't know what the winter's, fuel prices are going up, and winter,
does winter come under this one? Does winter fuel come under this one?
Yeah.
And I'd say we're seeing about a 25% increase
at
in
least.
general, so.
Well, in usage, I mean, they're barely keeping up with keeping the tanks full through
No,
December.
but, no, I'm talking in price,
Price.
in pricing,
I understand why you have it there.
yeah,
Makes sense to me.
okay.
Uniforms, we went down a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't spend it, and so
Yep.
I think we can comfortably cut that.
1,200.
Professional services, you're going, what was professional services again?
Engineering, surveying,
Okay. Are you seeing that, because we only spent 14,000 last year, are you seeing that we may need to have more of that this year?
oh yeah, we gotta get ahead of, we need to get stuff surveyed and engineered and stuff for the year ahead.
So you're kind of try to do 2 years
Yeah.
this year?
Yeah, we'll try to get stuff ahead, so
Okay.
Why the big increase in traffic control?
we didn't have traffic control before. I just added it. Because what happens is instead of adding a new person, I think if we have the traffic control line, it freed us up having the flaggers.
Contracting it out,
Yeah,
subcontracting.
it wasn't using our people to, we were free to do work.
Right.
And so so what I've been doing is using the on-call drivers to help wash trucks, do patching roads. Tomorrow, 2 of them are coming in to patch roads because last year we got way behind on washing trucks. And if you get behind on washing trucks, they're gonna rust, they're gonna rot. They're just, if you leave that salt on there for several days. So this year we're more aggressive with, but I'm finding that we need that extra manpower. But rather than add a full-time position, if I can utilize the on-call people, we're not paying benefits, we're not paying overtime, we're cutting down the overtime.
At $15, you're talking
Oh, I
about
just was-
$50,000 with benefits.
It was just a new
Oh,
line, so I was just,
Well, I just
makes
explained
sense to me, yeah.
explaining to
Sense to me.
you that,
Okay.
You're anticipating a fair amount of tree work this year?
yeah, I mean, last year you cut it to 4, so I assumed you'd do it again, so I went with, no, last year I asked for 6 and you cut it to 4, so if you wanna do that again.
But you didn't use that
Yeah,
much
but
last
you
year.
only spent 660, so.
Right, well, and that's the thing, is there's plenty of work to be done, we just didn't get to it, but
Yeah.
this year I'd like to get to it.
I thought we spent more than that just over on,
Well, that's where we spent it.
I was gonna say probably.
The tree
just-
work we spent money on was in the bond.
oh, okay, all right.
bond money on
I
that.
know we spent more than $660, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
I mean, we've got dead trees and stuff that are out over the road that ought to come
Well,
down.
I would imagine you've probably already spent some money on tree work with the ice storms that we've had this year.
Yeah, well, fortunately, so far, we've been able to handle it, but there's still some hangers up there we'll probably have to get help with down the road to have somebody go in and get them with a
And
bucket truck.
Didn't I see a letter, Ruth, from CMP that they're gonna be doing tree work in town this summer as well?
Mhm.
So that may
Well, they
take some of the pressure off of you guys a little bit.
only do tree work on the side that's got power lines. If I could talk them into doing the other side.
Well,
The other side, they don't care if you're smacking your windshield, they don't care.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna star this one as one to come back to.
Yep.
Just because I think until you show that we actually can spend, that we actually spend it or whatever.
Spend it, you don't spend it, you lose it.
Well, I don't like that policy either necessarily. But
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I'd be comfortable with cutting that to 4 if you.
that's
You said
exactly
it.
where I was thinking.
There it is, 4.
So
Okay. Where am I?
line 4006, 4006.
That's 4,000 off the budget.
Mine's different format than that, so I gotta. Oh, it's way back there, okay.
All right, operational supplies, material
What's that, what is that?
That is, you see, it's a list right down below it.
is,
I saw you got on this one.
Second page, 4501.
so, did we kind of work down our supply this year and you're trying to get it back up? Because you're asking for 26,000 more than you spent last year.
Yep, well, last year was approved, was 45,325. We spent $18,020, and a lot of that was just because we were just so busy with the bond project that we didn't have time to get to.
What's this dust control?
Dust control is,
It says new
that's a
$6,000.
new line.
Yeah.
That's something that we really needed last year. The dust was just everywhere, and we didn't have anything in the budget to.
Do you expect us to be doing grinding to be able to, I mean, do you see us doing that this year, or do you just find overlays?
Oh, no. No, I'm saying dust controls on the gravel roads. We put down magnesium chloride to keep.
Have we ever done that in the past?
Before I got here, they did. But I don't know where they got there's no place in the budget for it, so I think it was just stuff they had left over from winter or whatever, and it's really a different mix. They're not the same.
So we're gonna spend $6,000 so that they don't have dust on the road,
Yeah.
on a dirt
Well,
road?
it's not just that. It's not just that. If you put this on, it locks it. It's almost like pavement. And when it rains, you don't lose all your fines. After a rainstorm, you'll have all these rocks on top, and there's no fines. Once you lose your fines, the rest of it, there's nothing. The fines are the binder that hold the gravel together. And so once you let water infiltrate into that gravel, once it dries out, so there's all kinds of studies that show that roads should have dust control.
Calcium, magnesium, or something like that?
And that there's a benefit to that in that you save gravel.
So did we not purchase any gravel last year?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at what you have listed on here. Your expenses was 9,000 for patch, and
Yeah, we had 21,000 for patch.
that was the budget.
Yeah.
You spent 9,000.
Right.
Right. Yeah, but I'm just looking, what you have for expenses. You don't show any expenses for any gravel, reclaim, riprap.
Oh, right, yeah, well, I didn't break it, because a lot of.
Okay, so that 9,000 is a lump for all that.
Right, no, that
No, the
9,000,
18,
we spent
18,20.
$18,020 is what we
Okay,
spent
so-
total.
So 9,000 was part of it, okay.
Yes, so that was half of it.
Okay.
So I'm cutting that patch line because we rebuilt Runaround and Rabbit, which is where a lot of the patch was going.
Mhm.
And so I'm dropping that to 12. Because you still have Davis, Bowie Hill, which are getting worse by the day, so,
And Meadow Road.
and Meadow, and they get worse. This year they're gonna be far worse than last year. So, this is the nuts and bolts of how we operate, but because we were so busy with the road bond,
Are you gonna be any less busy this year with what you're proposing?
I don't know. That's what I.
So you still have a lot of ditching doing those two roads, don't you?
Because I mean, I've looked at what you're proposing, and it looks like it's just as aggressive schedule, if not more.
And what I was planning to do is to get more of those. I'm hoping that we'll be caught up a little more on our mechanical stuff and be able to put a couple of guys out on other projects doing more. That's another reason why it's helpful to have the flaggers.
I understand, but I'm gonna start that one because it just, I mean, we're asking almost 2.5 times what we spent last year, so.
I'm asking for less than last year.
No.
I'm asking for less than.
No, I'm
Yeah, but what
I'm
you
talking
spent.
about what you spent, and
Yep.
so.
I understand you were building the roads while you weren't really spending money out of that line. I
Right.
understand
If I'm
that.
not gonna get a bond, just keep in mind, or if I
Right.
don't,
Yeah.
if I'm not doing new construction, I'm definitely gonna need that money, that's.
Yep.
So I had to put that in there because I can't speculate on what decision's gonna be made in the end, so we'd come back to that.
Okay, culverts, basically the same. Erosion control, pretty much the same, that makes sense. Roads and paving.
Paving. Okay, so I want to change the paving line to roads. I want to change that headline, so
Yeah,
that's,
so
we
it's-
added that. It's more appropriate to say roads, because I'm doing more than just paving.
Road repair or road
Yeah, just-
maintenance or something, yeah. Okay, and so we show a $218,500 increase in this line, but really, you gotta take out the 60,000 from below, so it's 158,000 more this year that you're asking for.
Well, I gotta get there first. Let's see. Okay, there it is. So, I get rid of the chip seal. Well, I put chip seal up here. I put the surface treatment up here. So if you look down below where it says surface treatments, it says a 0.
Right.
What we spent last year was 75,600. So I'm asking for 0 there because I'm gonna move that up under paving, up under roads. So,
Right, so the shim and overlay number that you're proposing, it looks like, is
is the,
substantially similar to what you spent on paving last year, and a lot of that increase is adding.
well, actually, if you take, how I came up with that, and I should have probably spelled that a little bit better, is if you take that 185, 174 is what we spent last year.
Yep.
If you go back to your left and you'll see Cedar Pond Road and Stackpole Road, you'll see 1.83 and 1.6. I should have put the formula in here, but at $120,000 per
Yeah.
mile.
You've got that in the comments there, yeah.
Okay, yeah, there it is. Okay, 120,000 per mile, times, I think that's 3.43 is 436. Now, that's a shim and overlay. That's a 3/4 shim and an 1.5 inch overlay plus shoulders. That's 3.43 miles, and we would do 0 on the chip seal. We do 5,000 on the crack seal, 2,500 on the striping. The Cedar Pond and Stackpole are the two that I'd like to catch before they get any worse. Could you do one this year, one next year? I guess what I would say is, if you looked at that report I gave you on the roads at 45 miles and a 10-year plan, we need to be at
3 or 4 miles.
4 miles, 4.5 miles.
Right, but I mean, we need to be, when I did the math on that, $117,000 a mile, it comes out to like $550,000 a year, just to maintain on a 10-year plan, to maintain all of our roads, if they were all built and done, just to put a surface on them every 10 years.
And I think to save, yes, we have to look at repairing the bad stuff, but I do think that we've got to spend money on saving the roads that can be saved, because I think the failure to do that in past decades is what
This is why
led us
we're
into
where
the
we
hole
are.
that we're
yeah.
in.
Do we not have any roads that really qualify for the chip seal then right now, or are you not impressed with it? Or?
Well, what I may end up doing is, I may be able to, Stackpole probably would be a candidate for a shim and chip seal. Cedar Pond, yeah, shim and chip seal for Stackpole, and Cedar Pond.
So what section of Stackpole are you looking at? Just to,
From Bowie Hill to Auburn Pownell Road is the last
Okay,
piece.
so
The other two
okay.
sections have been done.
I was going to say, I knew we had done the first section chip sealed it at some point. So
So
yeah.
this would be, if I did a shim and chip seal, I could probably do that for like 70,000 a mile. And I would be okay with that on Stackpole.
So we'd be cutting.
And that would free up some, if we kept the number where it was, it would free you up to do some additional
Yeah,
chip sealing on other roads, or we could drop
yeah. So
that line item.
that would be about a little bit more than 75,000 that we'd save off. Stackpole. Yeah, about 75,000, I think. That you'd
So
save.
that we're at 285 this past year. That's what was approved,
Yeah.
285. So we spent 268.3. So, yeah, that would be, what would that bring us? Bring us down 70,000, so,
So, yeah, about 75, because 1.5 miles would be, if you're saving 50,000 a mile, 1.5 miles, 75,000.
so I could adjust that too, but I just need when I put the plan together and shim and chip seal has been somewhat controversial in the past, and in the last few years, it's come to light. We've had, from what I can see and what we've done in the last 3 or 4 years, and what Pownell's done in the last 4 or 5 years, it seems to be working for us.
What was the controversy?
Oh, just a lot of people didn't like it.
The noise, or that was a little rough, or?
Well, just they were just people got away from it. I don't know. People got into it, and there was a lot of competition. So people started cutting the liquid asphalt with gasoline, and everybody with a station wagon and a wheelbarrow got in the business, and then the integrity of the product just went. And so now it's coming back, and all states pretty much the only one around that's doing it is they're right by the letter, so they have a reputation.
What's the longevity of that versus a shim and overlay?
We were just having that discussion, but
Yeah.
I can tell you we've got 5 years in Pownell of they seem to be holding up fine. But what that does is by the shim, getting the profile back keeps the water shedding off the road. Once you start flattening that road up, it starts holding water, and your road deteriorates so rapidly at that point.
So the shim is a real important part.
Shim, yeah, and that keeps your profile, and then the chip seal is it's like a driveway sealer, but with a stone. It's a wearing surface and a waterproof. But to stretch the dollar, if we stay with that $120,000 a mile, if we can cut that in half, we've got chip seal on the rest of that road, and we shimmed and chip sealed, and from everything I can see, it's holding up fine, and they have plenty of engineering data that says it.
Well, I'm just thinking, because it's roughly it would save us 40%.
Yeah.
And if that's what the rest of that road is, that seems like a reasonable.
Now, if it saves us 40% and we only get 25% of the wear out of it, it doesn't make sense.
Right, exactly.
But if we save 40% and we get 60 to 70% of the wear, then it might make sense. And I'm just
The number I've been using, what I gave you in the report last year, was 7 years on a chip seal and 10 years on a shim and overlay. Now, I had this discussion the other day with Allstate, and they said they're not so sure that we're not 10 years on both.
seven years puts it right in the ballpark of being as cost effective.
Yeah. So, to me, I think that's probably a good option for Stackpole.
But you don't believe it would be a good option for Cedar Pond?
I'd have to look into it a little bit more, but at any rate, if you took, it would be an alternative. But if you go with that 285 number, I talked to Sean, he said that he was trying to get that number up to a realistic number.
I realize that.
And so I'm saying, okay, can I do something to, can I take some alternative measures to reduce that number? Perhaps I can do that. I'm sure I can. I'm more or less looking for a budget number that's more. I'm not asking for the whole 550,000 that on a 10-year plan for the shim and overlay plan, but I think somewhere in the middle would be.
I don't want to, I hate to cut that line, I understand what you're saying, but I'd rather do more of the chip seal and get more surface done on these roads.
If you catch them early enough, you can do that. And there are sections of Cedar Pond that are, some sections are okay and others aren't, and it's.
I'm just looking, because 158,000 more in that line is quite a steep.
But I do think that taxpayers do want to see the progress on the roads,
Absolutely. I hear it every day.
Now, does that
Weekly
include
noise.
the country lanes for?
What about my road?
I initially had Country Lane in there, and then Country Lane's a complete rebuild. And when I saw these numbers, I was like, I can't.
Yep.
That road's got to be rebuilt. It's got to be ground up. We've got to add foot of material and pave it. We took a boulder out of the road that was that big, we went down the back and dug it out of the middle of the road. It's gotten to the point where we don't even bother trying to waste the salt to get it to bare pavement because it's concave, so everything melts and then just refreezes. We put more salt on it, melts, refreezes. It's almost better to treat it as a gravel road and just put sand on it.
There is a spot on the Stackpole Road by the power lines that you probably notice now is dipped in.
Yep.
I know that was fixed years back a couple times, but never seems to really last. It's something you'd have to do before you could run chip seal down there.
Yeah, well, we'll look at it.
What do you think on that line? Yeah.
If you took the 443 and took the 70 off, where would that put you?
No, 70, 50, right? Or, yeah, 75, that's right, yeah, 75, yeah.
If you-
So, if we took,
And then maybe there's a piece of Cedar Pond I could do, maybe I can stretch that dollar and.
well, or.
I'm abstaining from this because I live on Cedar Pond.
So if, actually, if we did if we went with a 75, so you could do Stackpole, and left you with the Cedar Pond, and if you could do that one, that would give you another 75 to 80,000 that you could use to work on another road if.
Right.
Yeah, so I could do that. I mean, if others are agreeable to doing, to take the 75,000 off to chip seal Stackpole instead of overlay.
Can you use any of that 75,000 up on the Boy Hill Road anywhere? Will that use it, or is that just junk?
It's too far gone. We had that discussion today, and people are calling, and our snowplows are getting stuck in the pavement. So we're now having to go up and make repairs, because I finally told them, I said, just have to pick your plow up, and we'll have to use more salt. That's about all we can do, really, is if your plow is, the weight of the plow alone is, the road can't even support the weight of the plow.
Davis Road up to where that last chip seal was is just a cobweb of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not pretty.
Meadow Road, same way.
I'm working on that, and maybe I could take some of this extra and try to, I've thought about it.
Is there
Yeah.
a chance to grind that part of it, and just leave it dirt temporarily? I mean, would that be a better option, that part of the Boy Hill?
Until dust comes and mud comes, until mud season and then dust season. Your car would
So
look
for
like,
about 3 weeks, it would be
Yeah.
awesome.
It's just,
well, I'm just saying, your car
I don't wanna-
would look like.
right, I don't
would
want to
look
piss the
like.
money away for no reason.
You ever go up
Just-
north and where they're in a paper mill in those roads and drive them for a day and look at your car at the end of it? That's what they
Oh,
would
yeah,
look like.
I've been there. Yeah.
So, if we took the 75,000 off, that line would now be 368.5.
368.5.
And then, if I can take that number and come back to you with, okay, here's what I can do moving forward each year. And I think you're getting closer to the,
Okay. So,
so what
I
was
think
it?
that, I mean, if we're seeing good wear on that and so on, I think that may be a good option if, to try to still get stuff done, but.
Right.
Yeah, well, you've gotta stretch
Yep.
the dollar.
Yep.
Or if you can, and I won't waste money. I'm not gonna put something into something I'm not gonna go in and put money, I'm not gonna go in and put asphalt on a road that just doesn't have a base in it.
Yep.
So,
Right. No, that's why I was asking about that part of it.
Okay.
I think these roads are still at the point where we can save them.
Yeah.
And keep the profile.
On, to the winter roads,
What was that final number?
368.5.
Yep.
Okay.
De-icers, you spent 9,000, you asked for 18 last year, you're asking 18 again, are we using it?
13,094. That's what I got.
So I got 9,000 you
We've
spent.
got 9,014, yeah.
That's the line where I had to back that one out. You may have a different number than mine.
Okay. It's on the trio sheet it shows. Okay, all right.
So you had to make an adjustment.
I did have to make an adjustment.
Okay.
So,
what happened is last year, I didn't really understand the whole process of how this whole thing worked, and I talked to Sean. He said he didn't really know. He was still working on. He was still trying to get. It was a new program, and So now I have it all figured out, exactly how it works, and so now every piece of salt that comes into our yard gets treated with Ice Be Gone, which gives us a working temperature of -49 below zero. So this is what it's gonna cost, to treat the salt that we have.
So you'll be using more?
Yes.
Okay.
8 gallons per ton. We have it right down to a science of how many seconds that hose has to run per gallon. We've measured it in the bucket, and so we will be using all of it.
Okay. Next, sand. You didn't expend anything last year for sand?
No. And so this year, I'm assuming we're gonna have to refill the
Okay,
shed.
yeah. Salt, you got it targeted actually very close last year. You're asking for 20,000 more. Is the cost going up? Or are we using more?
Not much. We're using more. It's just the winter.
The winter's more, yeah.
December was every.
Yep.
And a lot of people think a lot of people think that that it's based on snowfall, and it's not. To get rid of a foot of snow costs hardly anything. It gets thrown in the ditch with a plow. It's getting rid of what's left on the pavement. It's that half an inch that we got to keep treating and scraping and treating and scraping.
And
to
if
get
you've got warm up and then freezes and so on, yeah.
Yeah. So there's so many other factors. The snowfall really isn't. It's number of events and temperatures.
Okay.
Well, and we've had so many ice events.
I know, it was just freezing and
Ban
freezing.
everybody from riding on the road till you're done.
Yeah, in the freezing rain, we just are nonstop. So when it's freezing rain, I put it right on the center line. So I got as the water dilutes that salt, I got the entire length from there to the white line that I get to use it. Instead of putting it over here, these crystals here, I'm only going to get this much use out of it. So. Of brine, and then it's thawing the ditch, which I don't need thawed out.
Well, we want our ditches clean.
Okay.
Okay, so next line is plow blades, and we spent less, and I see you're decreasing.
Yep. It's always, we're already way ahead of last year. I mean, December we're out. Seemed like every other day. So.
Yep. Winter equipment maintenance here.
Why so much?
Plow blades. I cut it. Well, last year I have to.
I mean, we already got 36,000 budget from the maintenance on the other page.
Oh, you're on the winter equipment.
This is plow blades, right?
No, he's on to winter
You're on to
equipment
winter
maintenance.
Oh.
Yeah, the 20,000, yeah.
Which is an $8,000 increase.
Because last year we spent 22,000.
Mm-hmm.
And 22.7, almost 23,000.
What is that?
That's all the work that goes into the older plow trucks. Anything to do with HP Fairfield plow gear, dump bodies, plow pumps.
And how many trucks is that?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, and then the red 1 ton. Pretty much anything that's got to do with winter maintenance.
So
sanders, all
the
sanders.
32,000 you spent in the summertime doesn't go to any of that.
No.
That's on, what's that spent on then, if it's not spent on the trucks?
That's all trucks.
So 32,000 in the summer, then we go ahead and spend another,
22.
so we're spending $52,000 on maintenance on 5 trucks a year.
We spent 22. We spent almost 23. Bed chains.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, we're spending $50,000 a year for a truck to keep it going, the trucks.
Yep.
And
Right.
does that include the other equipment as well?
Yep. That's everything. That's
The trucks, yeah. So the other equipment maintenance line includes our other equipment too, yeah.
So you expended, I understand you probably spent some more money, but we just got rid of one of those old trucks that you would have spent money on last year. So that should be a less of a number now.
We're talking
For
somewhere around
2017.
$5,000 a truck in the winter on those
Yep.
old trucks.
like we just had one blew a pump the other day. It was $1,500 just to get the part. I had to run all the way to Plymouth and get it and put. I mean, those things you just don't.
But like I'm trying to say, we just got you a brand new truck, got rid of one of the old ones, which you would have spent the 22 on last year. So now that we got rid of a problem truck, that number, that 22,000 should come down some.
So if you took 5,000 a truck, I took 27 off it. So if you want to take 5 off, you take another 1,300 off. And
2,200.
well, I've taken from 22 down to 20.
No, I see, yeah, but that's 27. 22 brings it to 5, not 12.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but
Well, right, and it's the trade-off of we've got one less old truck, but the
Right.
old trucks we have are one more year.
Yeah,
I know,
I
that's-
think, I'd be comfortable, right now, I'd want to leave it there and see where we are, but,
I don't, it just seems like a lot of money to me, knowing we got a brand-new truck there, and the rest of us some good trucks, and we got a couple old ones, and we got 36,000 we're spending in the summertime, supposed to be keeping upkeep on them, then we turn around and spend another 20,000 in the winter for upkeep on them, it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, but
On just truck.
it is, but I'm just nervous that,
We just gave a $110,000, $210,000 truck, whatever that was.
yeah.
I mean, that's
I agree.
I mean, the taxpayers are gonna say, well, why are we doing so much,
Well, and the
if
funny
we
thing
replace them?
is, you know, people think of that truck, they think it's all the truck. Half of the cost of that truck is the plow gear and all the working components of,
Right, yeah.
Which is brand new, right?
Yeah.
yeah, right. But on the older trucks, half of that truck really is that, the accessories that go on the truck.
I understand, I run them.
next line was weather technology. You didn't spend, we haven't expended anything in 2 years.
Yeah, and what happened last year was they were all they were broke, but I got them warranted. We had quite a battle over it, and back and forth we went for months and months, and finally they agreed to warranty it, so we got them fixed for warranty.
So they're gonna be out of warranty now?
They're out of warranty now. It was like-
Okay, so if one goes, you're gonna need it.
Yeah, and we will need one.
Okay.
And just one of them, I think, is 800 and something alone, so.
And then the meteorology, and that's just, you get updates and,
Yeah. Yeah. That was 495 last year, right?
yeah.
Your budget, yeah.
You cut that one to 300.
How does I mean, it's a very small line, but just so how does that differ from what you could get from
Doesn't.
a website or a,
No, I think, I almost wouldn't care if you cut it.
be careful what you say. No, I mean, I didn't know if you got it sooner than you would get it through
This has been a discussion we've had in the classes, training for snow and ice control, and towns swear by it, and I see that, and I'm getting much more updates on the National Weather Service and other, but,
Then let's cut it.
I do use it, I kind of compare, sometimes I'll get an email from.
This is Gurley Merrily or something?
Yeah.
This is what this is 300 for?
Yeah,
Supposed to be Pacific for this location, right?
yeah, it's supposed to be specific for this location, but.
But are you
National Weather-
getting just
National
a-
Weather Service, when I put in the zip code, it's
Yeah, it's
pretty
specific,
pretty
yeah.
accurate. So I personally, I thought
So
about cutting
if-
it last year. but-
if we cut it now and you decide to discontinue it and you find, hey, you know, it was really good, I bet you could find $300 in your budget.
Right, that's,
Yeah.
Okay. So,
cut that, yeah.
So that brings the increase down a little bit from the 222, 706 to a little closer to 143, 406. Just the increase, not the whole budget. I'm just looking at that.
just the subtotal there, yeah. I mean, we've cut 75, 79, basically 79,000 from that line.
Right. No, I was looking at the 17.3% increase, and so,
True there.
you know, I'm trying to knock
So,
the,
well, we've cut a third of that.
79,000 we cut out
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
79, so we've cut a third of that
Yeah.
out.
That's printed at 143.06.
yeah.
Okay. So, next, down below, we have the,
That includes taking out 300.
Bond
we have the bonds, the building bond, the equipment bond, and then we have the road bond. And my suggestion is that the road bond be its own article. We included the building bond and the equipment bond in the Public Works budget because it was a way of showing this is what our Public Works is truly costing us. The road bonds is not related.
Capital project.
It's a
right?
capital project, so I would suggest pulling that out on its own.
So you put that, take it right out of Public Works altogether.
Well.
Take it out of your operating budget.
Take it out of your operating budget and basically be on the next sheet, your capital. It's a payment, kind of like the way we do with the fire department. Ruth, question. Something that would be very helpful next week when we start going through this is the summary sheet that shows us where we are budget-wise last year, bottom line budgets for each last year, this year, and where the money's coming from, and then a bottom line total for the taxes. If we get the sheet that we have every year.
Yep, no, I have that going, I guess I didn't print it because of I didn't have the.
Because when we get down to the nitty-gritty, we kind of need to know where we're headed on that. So, because some of the things, like I know we have a fair amount extra in the auto excise this year from last year.
Yeah.
And so that helps cut down on the tax impact.
Yeah, and that number is on the page, the 825,283 is the excise tax.
Right,
and
but.
last year we were at 733, so yeah, I know what you're asking.
So it's like, yeah, so there's another 95, so 95 and 79 is 174. So you're talking like a $50,000 increase for taxes and stuff.
Right, but then it's a little bit of a kabuki dance because then you move the road bond payment into its own line, and then you're raising virtually all of that.
No, actually, so we have right now we have approximately 349,000 set aside in
the
capital fund, and I was going to suggest that we cover at least half of this bond payment with that, because we're putting it aside to start help leveling out the tax impact, and that's one of the things I was going to suggest, but. Okay, next sheet is your Public Works capital budget.
You're saying to pay half of the road bond? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah. So, we have in there, you show the plow truck that we did last year and a decrease of 204,000. My suggestion last year, when we put $100,000 in the budget, was that we keep that in there. 1 year we put it into the capital fund. The next year we take that $100,000 and another $100,000 to get so that we can be replacing the trucks every 2 years, like we need to. And you don't show that here. If we don't have that in there, I have a feeling it'll be very hard to get that back in next year to try to keep up with that. Yeah, it was a heavy hit last year on our budget, but I would suggest, my suggestion, and the board can decide on that, but I would suggest that we put in 100,000 just because we know we need to replace these trucks, and every 2 years is actually almost too slow for some of them, but we can't really afford to do it faster than that.
Yep.
But.
We had the trucks independently reviewed this year, and when we get the results back, it's not pretty. So the trucks were in a lot worse shape than I thought they were.
Appropriation for the capital fund, that was what was that? That was a special amount.
That's pave.
That was for the reimbursement from the blizzard.
Right, yeah, that's
it.
Okay, paving for the public works, you're asking for 37,000.
350
to be taken from the capital account for the paving there.
It costs almost $40,000 to pave that parking lot.
This one was about that amount. I mean, the one right here, and
that just seems nuts to me.
It is, but I mean, it costs a lot to pave, and parking lots almost seem like they cost more than roads.
They do.
It's oil.
They charge more for the asphalt. They get a different rate.
But I think we were pretty close to the 40,000 at this one, and I guess that the parking lots are roughly the same, similar size.
This included putting a 30-foot strip in front of the two back doors and a 15-foot strip in front of the cold storage building.
Just to protect is that to protect where you go in or something?
Yeah, because what happens is the snow and ice builds up in front of the doors and the cold storage, and we can't, with the asphalt, it would melt, and then the snow slides off the roof, builds up there and freezes, and then they wash the trucks in the back outside, and they're on dirt, and it's always building up with ice. Once you get it on gravel, you can't get rid of it, so it's very hard to get rid of it.
That's a metal roof out back there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what's this wash bay curtain?
What happens is, when it gets cold, it gets down to 3 or 4 degrees, or even 10, 12 degrees, you can't wash the trucks outside because they just build up with ice. So we could take, so I got a price on putting a curtain across the middle of the garage, so the back half would still be able to work on trucks, and putting a curtain down the middle on both sides, and so it could be washing 2 trucks at a time inside the garage, regardless of what the temperature is.
And we have the proper drainage and whatever. we
Oil
need.
separator?
Yeah.
Separator and salt and.
Floor drain, oil, water separator, it's all right in that. It would all go into right where,
So whether we want $10,000 so you guys don't spray each other.
yeah, well,
So we don't spray all the tools that we've just spent all this
I'm
money on.
just trying to say what everybody's gonna say to
We
me.
got electrical outlets in the walls, we got.
But that's never been a problem before with Mike Kopp, and Mike Kopp's been washing trucks in there for years, I mean, before you got it. And where do you think he washed his trucks? Inside. And he never had a problem with any of that stuff you're talking about right now, so, and everybody's gonna be saying that to me, so that's why I'm asking for the 10,000. It's a lot of money, $10,000 for curtains.
Just because I don't know, I was never in there. It was the layout the same and in terms of, where other equipment is and all
Yeah,
of those.
the drain's in the middle.
No, I meant on the sides that would potentially be sprayed.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you got the outlets in the walls, and you have other electrical components on the wall, switches and heat and electrical panels, and I just wouldn't feel comfortable spraying water onto those items and have somebody get electrocuted. I can't imagine OSHA would be very happy with that. And we're held to a higher standard than a private contractor anyway.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. Is there a big difference to that? I know private contractors have to follow certain rules, but they can do things that public works towns don't have to. That's what I was gonna ask.
They're exempt from Maine Department of Labor inspections and.
Have you asked them if these curtains are suffice, or is it too much electrical stuff in play and too close to your work areas? Do you even be washing equipment in there?
No, if we shut those curtains.
I'm just saying, have you asked Safety Works, have you gone that far, or are you saying he's gonna, I don't wanna buy these things and him say, well, geez, that isn't enough. You can't wash in here. I mean, to me, that would really irritate me.
I mean, we had a wash bay where it was, and it's a curtain, they put brackets in the ceiling, and then there's a suspended.
Well, we were just talking about safety
rail.
wise, that's why you just brought up safety, and I'm asking, if you're gonna have, I think you're gonna have some training there come in February, right?
Yeah, well, if that curtain is shut, the water can't get, that's what it's designed for, so.
So you can ask them
I could ask,
February, right?
and I don't know that they'll have an answer, that might be one of those things where if they don't see it, I don't know if that's actually in a box they check, but, if it's completely blocked off, I can't see where it would, there'll be no water getting to electrical. But like, for example, we were gonna wash trucks inside a couple weeks ago, and I said, I don't think so, there's a welder plugged
I'm
in.
gonna go right back to what I said. The guy's been doing it for years, before you got there, no problem. And I think it's just a lot of money to,
I think it's worth asking the question, because I know Mike's been doing it in there, but I know the difference between a private contractor and the municipality is, for whatever reason, it's just the way it is. But
Safety Works has
I would-
already come in and
Right,
seen
I would at
it.
least ask the question, because in the event that you can use those, but that ain't gonna be sufficient, then this is not gonna help you.
Yeah.
But that's, so it's worth just asking the question too,
Yeah.
because the
I mean,
question's gonna come up, and then we at least will have an answer.
Yeah, I just, I can't see how they're gonna spray those trucks without hitting water on those walls and hitting electrical. And we could do 2 at once instead of, maybe he brought in 1 truck at a time, and
yeah. I don't see you guys doing two, to tell you the truth. You got 2 pressure washers? You got 2 steam cleaners over there I didn't know about?
but we use hose on one while the other one's, we're hosing one while the other one's, but we don't use the pressure washer.
Tell them to
Actually,
put their back to the wall, they won't never hit the wall.
we don't use the pressure washer, actually, we use
Then
the
you can turn
hose.
trucks around.
'Cause with salt,
I think it's worth asking the question.
Yeah, we've
But
come- we've-
I'm not opposed to it yet, but I think it's worth asking.
with salt, we found that you don't want to use pressure washer because it's not pressure you want with salt, it's volume of water. You want to dissolve the salt. So we find that just the regular hoses work better. You pressure wash off the outside of the truck, but once you get up in the frames and stuff, we want that volume of water to dissolve the salt.
Right.
With
Yeah,
pressure washer, you get a very small amount of water, but high pressure, and it's
Right.
not what you want when you're doing salt.
Yep, I understand.
So,
But that's, I at least ask that question.
yeah.
It's well worth asking.
Yeah.
Have all the other budget lines been gone over once then, now?
Yes.
This was the last one, okay.
So we're not done with mine
Oh,
though.
except
No.
for donations, sorry.
Okay, so thank you. Yeah, you still have your road projects.
Yes. The green. Should have done a page break at the beginning of that. Now we got on two different pages.
Shiloh.
So Shiloh.
Davis on the first, on the page before, and then Shiloh, Bowie
And then
Hill.
I added Bowie Hill today because I'm just throwing it out there because our plows are getting stuck in the road, so,
These are possible bonds.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with the balance of bringing a bond every year. I mean, yes, we have roads to do, but there's a part of me that would like to say, okay, we did this big bond, now let's do like the shim and overlay and do some sort of in-house smaller projects and then maybe bond something next year, but I understand that the delay, it's a tough,
well, I mean,
Tough sell.
it's a tough sell.
I mean, we gotta get
We gotta get there,
there. and-
absolutely.
and,
Well, you pick the worst one, I guess. I don't really wanna see another bond right now, but the townspeople may say, yeah, we need to do it.
And
So we just pick one. Pick
so-
whichever you think's best of.
I mean, what you have here is almost 2.5 million. Now, talking earlier, you were saying this is if the contractor does, these prices are if the contractor does everything?
Yep. Yeah, so we just did Brown Road in Pownell, and it was $100 a foot. What we did in Durham, where we did most of the work, was $55 a foot.
I haven't seen that yet from you, so I'm still waiting for that. You
Yeah.
haven't gave me, I asked you for quite a few times now, and you haven't gave me the spreadsheet to prove that, back that up
We said
yet.
in budget season. Well, I can tell you that what we just spent, $100 a foot in Pownell is what we just.
And I don't know how much we spent in
But
Durham
you-
yet.
I mean,
haven't
you
showed
said
me.
you spent roughly $55 a foot in contractor spending for our,
Yes,
right?
well, total, I mean, that's including.
That's not,
That's including our labor, any.
Well, no.
Well, no,
our
and-
equipment,
and I
our
understand that we'd be
trucks,
paying those
our
people
everything.
anyway.
Right.
But-
That just covers flagging.
I think you're gonna find it's gonna be more.
No, so $55, it's 19,700 feet we did.
Yeah.
Take 1.1 million divided by 19,700 feet, and it gives you your $55 a foot.
Okay, so that's $55 a foot for, I mean, I understand, you know, if that $55 a foot is 1.1 million. So 45, to get up to the $100 a foot, you'd be spending $45 more. And so you're talking about another $800,000. I mean, you can tell from our budget that we didn't spend $800,000 on it. But it would be good to see those, I mean, I actually agree with Mike on this, because this would be a good thing to show to the town.
Mark this down. He's agreeing with me on this one a little
This
bit.
one, no, it would be a good,
Well,
it'd
we
be,
should see the numbers.
this
I agree
is,
with that.
this is something the town is looking for.
Right.
Okay, where's our return on our investment? We can say, okay, if we add in what the cost it was to do the ditching, our people to do the ditching, the wear on the equipment and so on, add that in, and can show them that it cost us $70 a foot, or whatever. This is exactly what the town needs to see.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And this ain't even done yet. Ditching ain't done
You
over
have to
there.
look at, I mean, there's two different, there's efficacy and there's cash flow. Because the other piece of that is just straight up cash flow. If we've got $100 a square foot going out to a third-party contractor, plus $300,000 going out to pay our people that are ditching or doing something else. That's just in terms of, yes, there's more work being done, but there are also more dollars going out the door every day. So it's the cash flow balance as well.
I
Oh,
mean,
agreed, I agree.
if, I don't know what it would take, do you, I mean, is there a way that you can look at the man hours that we put on this quickly?
I have them every day. I have them. I
Can
put
you-
them away and I'm gonna.
Can you get this to us before we meet with the budget committee?
When are you meeting?
Beginning of February,
Yeah. Well, it's-
because, I mean, this is, I mean,
I've been at this for.
I know he's asked,
I asked for this thing for months.
and
Been very
this,
patient about it.
this is what we need to show the town, because there are people in town that want to know, is this really helping us? And this is perfect time, because you can say, you already, where you're doing two towns and you did one project one way and another project another way, this is a perfect way to show it.
Right, I want everything on that paper.
I mean, I can tell you right away that we didn't spend $800,000 out of our budget on those roads, but we need to, we need to show
Roads ain't
it.
done yet either, though. Remember that. The ditching ain't completed yet, so he's gonna have to estimate how much it's gonna cost him to finish the ditching, to figure out how much that road actually cost.
But it'll all be in that 1.1 million we covered anyway, but.
Well, no,
Above and
because
beyond.
we spent we had some of our own employees working on that and so on, and that amount actually has,
Right, that's not getting segregated and being paid out of the bond versus the operating budget, I think is.
But we're paying them anyway, so this
No.
is where we get into.
no, we're paying them anyway, but we need, if we can show that this is what it cost us.
If you hired it out.
If we hired it out, it cost us $100 a foot. This one here, we did $55 a foot, but we did some of our own prep work on it. So you got to add that on top of the $55 so you're comparing.
So you're comparing it.
So you're comparing exactly what it costs. Yes, we're already paying them, but this is why we were paying them, why we decided
If
to
that
do it.
other
Right, and I think
45 was actually only 35 or 20 or whatever
Right,
it
and I think
was.
one of the points that Mike has been trying to make all along is, would it be more cost efficient to have, since we're paying those people anyway, to have them ditching on the other end of town or whatever, and having
A bond,
more
a bond.
preventive work
Right.
I mean, if
doing that?
we came out that we found it was, $95 a foot for us to do it, $100 a foot for the contractor to do it, our time would probably be better spent working on other parts of the town. If we find that it's $65 a foot versus $100 a foot, then you can show, hey, look at this. It might actually.
We've already
Might actually show that, hey, if we hire one more person and we can get a little bit more done, something
But
like
then,
that.
again, it goes to that cash flow, where our out-of-pocket
Yeah,
is less if we're paying our own guys. We'd be paying them, because we'd be paying them anyway. Yes, work may get done townwide more slowly, but our actual bottom line, we would have had to bond more money
Yeah.
to have paid to, or done less
We
road with
would've
the
done half
money
as-
we had.
We don't know yet till we get those figures.
but
But
yes,
we should have those
that's,
figures to
I mean,
compare that.
we need to see that. I mean, and I know you're not gonna get it exact to the dollar, but we need to see, okay, we spent this many man hours on it at this much, and this is the equipment time that we put into it. And whatever materials we'd used.
The
or-
diesel, everything. you know.
Yeah,
When you figure out equipment, man hours, you gotta figure out what we give for benefits. You gotta figure all that into you just can't use our hourly rate. You gotta, what we use for benefits for that one person. You gotta break it down, because I tell you what, that's what Shaw Brothers does. They just don't let a guy.
oh, I agree, and,
Absolutely, you do, to compare apples to
Apples
apples.
to
And that
apples.
wasn't the point, and the point I was trying to make was back to what I said before, was cash flow. We are only paying interest on $1 million to do X number of miles of road versus paying, 55 dollars per square foot was what we're contracting out, what we're borrowing.
Right,
So in terms of what we're paying in interest rate,
what we get done.
So in the long run, it actually costs us a bit more.
well, if we
Because
were
of the-
paying interest on $100 a square foot, it
Right.
would, that would be an additional cost as well.
I mean, I would really, honestly, I would really like to see this because you are at, if it's what I think it is, just knowing what we're paying and things like that, this is justifying your department. And I think we are 2.5, 3 years into the department. I think it's time that we need to, that we show them, that we show them that this is, that we justify it.
It was brought up on the floor last year,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think if you just took that 100 to 55, it shows that we've just saved over $1 million right there. I mean, just.
At one time, Sean had, and I know he hadn't done it with Durham because we didn't have a crew at the time, but he took projects, or 2 projects that he'd done over there in Pownell and compared, that's what he did, he compared apples to apples. This is what it cost when we subbed it out to a contractor, so much a foot, or whatever it was, whether it was culverts or ditching, and this is what it cost us when we did it in-house, so much a foot. And at that time, the numbers were far enough apart, so it was easy to justify. So, I mean, things do change, but.
Please, get that to me. I'm itching to look at it and
Yeah.
just study it.
So
So the only other budget line we
Was
haven't done is donations.
donations. So
Are we done with Kelvin? Is it you done any report?
Well,
for us, or what?
what is our,
We don't know yet on ours.
okay, so, don't know.
We see them, we don't know what to do.
Don't know what to do with them right now.
Yeah, and
I'd like to see the rest.
I mean, before we forward this to the budget committee, if we're gonna be asking for another bond, we kinda need to see,
I mean,
I'd love to see the rest of Davis Road be done and
Yep.
have that whole run around Davis Road piece. And I know Bowie Hill is killing the plow trucks, but I also feel for the other end of town
Yeah,
that
sure, I
hasn't
mean,
seen any.
Shiloh Road.
Meadow.
And Meadow Road and
I'm hearing
Plummer
from those
Mill
guys.
Road, but Old Brunswick Road, I mean, they're all in very poor shape too.
yeah, so, I just, I don't know.
And, I mean, and you've mentioned that we have a bunch of these subdivision roads that are
Yeah.
in pretty poor shape.
Yeah,
But-
so it's just, I don't know, I mean, we're just so far behind that if we
I
don't
know.
get a jump start here somehow, you know, if you skipped 1 year, then we could cut that $100 because we would then be able to finish up ditching what we've already got. And then we would be able to just go in and do the ditching the following year ourselves and do another $55 a foot instead of
Maybe,
100.
maybe even on the next one, plan for 2 years and bond it, so you're only going for one bond, because a bond every year is a killer.
So
We're gonna be looking at another truck next year, it sounds like. It's just,
So,
Just a problem.
And that's exactly why I say, just keep the 100,000 in there, and then the truck's
Cash.
taken care of, and we don't have, yeah.
I guess I would put it this way. Those roads are already destroyed. So it's not like if we don't do it this year, they're gonna be destroyed. They're already destroyed. The issue is can the people wanna wait another year?
Yeah, I know, the public is, I mean, now, we did not have anything like last year where people from the road show up.
Not yet.
I don't think we're that far away from that.
no,
Don't
and
either.
I've gotten email inquiries on Meadow Road.
No.
And people understand
I've got
that
phone calls.
it's not the most
I mean-
trafficked road in town. And
I,
I understand the need to focus on,
But they pay taxes like everybody else.
exactly.
I,
Davis Road is gonna be the next road that.
And there's a house
that
development
Davis
down there
is
on that
gonna-
road too.
You know, and then you're gonna have the same argument of, well, why are we spending this money over here and we're not fixing the roads that are already, you know,
You don't have,
'cause we're trying to keep them from ending up like that road, but.
Exactly, it's,
So, if
we
we.
need, like, our fairy godmother to give us $10 million.
What I will tell you is that by waiting a year, we would be able to go in and do much of the work ourselves like we did on this project. We couldn't do it this year because we're stretched too thin. We don't have the manpower. So by waiting a year, you actually end up saving another $1 million or so.
And the other thing about getting caught up on some of the ditching is, at least my understanding of it, is that's a critical element of saving our roads. And that's something that we can do with the equipment and the trucks that we have.
And I think we could actually, if we wait a year, I think we can sell the additional budget money better. That we're waiting one more year, and we will have a significant bond to put out next year. But we're wanting to do more catch up on regular maintenance too, and I think we could sell that.
Right. We don't want to be getting out beyond ourselves.
I mean, we had been talking about Runaround Pond Road for 6 years at least. It was, since I got on the board, we were talking about it. And it, when I got on the board, it needed to be done. And we did the public works, and we pushed it off, and that's why the residents did what they did last year. I don't blame them.
Yeah. Davis Road.
I
those
fully
people are not,
expect that we will see something, Davis Road, Shiloh Road. That we will probably be hearing more about it if we don't put something out this year. I think we should present this to the budget committee, that this is what we're looking at. But I don't know that we want to put it out or not, but.
Well, I think you need to
get a feel of what the budget committee feels
you need to
too.
explain that if we do it this year, it's going to cost this. If we wait a year, we can cut that number significantly.
Okay, so you don't believe that we can do it this year at a lower cost? We don't have the
We don't
manpower?
have the manpower to do it.
Okay.
We're still finishing up last year's project, and we have other stuff we've got to
We have
do.
the Touch Quicker meeting again, finishing that
We
out.
gotta
That's
get-
2 years
we gotta-
project
we gotta
on.
get back to that. So, I think.
I guess that's kind of my sense too, is that we've got plenty of work to keep our crew busy on maintenance.
Yeah, so I think.
So if you get us those numbers that we asked for, we can say, by waiting one more year, we should be able to save this amount off this $2.5 million. And we'd be putting out a bond for whatever, 1.5, instead of 2.5. If you can get if you can get us accurate, or
Is there a way we could put out there for a town meeting, a vote that says, do you want to do it in 2017 for X amount of dollars, or do it in 2018 for X amount of dollars?
not
I
really.
think so.
If we were to put it out there, if we were to decide to put it out there this year, we would actually have to word it, do you approve a bond for this amount of money, to do whatever.
I mean, you can certainly get up and speak to your budget and
we-
why you are recommending what you're
We
recommending.
could put that out there and not recommend it. And we could say why we don't recommend it, but that would give the townspeople the opportunity. The question is, and that's why I want to bring this before the budget committee, is there any sense in doing that and spending 45 minutes to an hour talking about it on town floor? And, I don't know. I'm not going to be there, so I don't know. No, I honestly
I just
don't.
wonder if you could give people the option.
Yeah, I mean, we can. It is a possibility. We did something like that last year. But, but I think that's kind of why I would like to hear what the budget committee thinks on it too. I personally, I think that it makes sense if we can show the figures that we save 20-30% by doing it ourselves. If we can show that, I think then we can say it makes sense to hold off. If the figures show that we don't save that much, then it doesn't make sense necessarily to hold off.
Okay, yep. So I'll get you those numbers.
Thank you.
You said you wanted them in budget season, so.
It is budget season.
It is budget season. January 4th.
I mean, the selectmen are almost done, we need to finish up the budget stuff next week. Speaking of which, when?
I know. Tuesday.
No, well, Tuesday, I would strongly suggest against that because of the
Monday.
comprehensive. Monday would be what I would suggest, and then if we need another day, we can figure out Monday.
Wednesday.
Okay, so
Same
we,
time, 6:30? 6.
I'd say, I'd be fine with 6.
Yeah.
Can you do Monday?
I think so. I didn't bring my calendar with me, but I don't
Okay.
anticipate a problem.
We'll like to go over this with,
The donations one?
yeah, we do that
Yeah.
when we do the.
Do that next week. Yeah, that's
it's
not,
just a- All
yeah.
right, sounds good.
So when do you want to see me again?
um, and can you, because we don't know exactly when we're gonna hit each department, so I think if we ask if the chief can be here too. I don't know, you know, we may be able to get through most of it, or we may not be.
So we'll be meeting with the budget committee Monday?
No,
No,
we'll
no.
be finalizing our.
We need to finalize our budget, what we're gonna present. I hope we can have that, that sheet, the overall sheet
I'm
by
almost done, I
Monday.
just didn't plug in
Okay.
the Public Works.
Yeah.
So Monday, 6
o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6
Monday.
o'clock Monday.
Got it, good. All right. You do your,
Yeah,
your
and
minutes, say, or.
I put that away.
Oh, yeah, we gotta sign something here too.
Yeah. All right, so regular selectmen's meetings will be held here Tuesday, February 7th at 6:30 PM and Tuesday, February 21st at 6:30 PM. There will be a budget workshop on Monday, January 30th at 6 PM. As mentioned before, the Comprehensive Plan Committee is having a meeting at the school. It's looking for public input on Tuesday, January 31st at 6:30 PM. Nomination papers are out, can be picked up here for selectmen positions of 3 years, 2 positions, 3 budget committee positions for 3 years, 1 school board committee member for, is that 3 years as well?
I think so, yeah, because there's
Okay.
3 of them.
And now, I believe we will be 1 selectman for 2 years.
1 year.
1 year, for 1 selectman for 1 year. Do we have the date of when they need to be back?
February 14th or not?
Is it the 14th or 15th?
14th.
Somewhere in there. We'll say 14th, just to be safe.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, I will,
Jeff,
yes,
there was a significant item here I forgot to go over, we need to go back to.
okay.
I knew I should have changed that from red to green. Oh, well, okay.
What is it? What is it?
The first one in the green box, projects.
That, I saw that
Okay.
Auburn
Oh,
panel.
yes.
And the reason that that's important is because we've applied for a grant. And in the grant, I had to show that we have put the money aside, that we've dedicated the money to do our portion of the project. Worst case scenario is if we were approved, we could always just not accept it and not do it. But it's kind of a sticky situation in that the 2 crossings are a couple $100,000 apiece. If we get the grant, I talked to the engineer today, he said the odds, chances of getting both of them are nil to none. So he said, just figure 100,000 for your portion of one of the crossings. I said, well, so here's the thing, if I don't put it in there, so what it could do is if we put it in there and we don't get the grant, I could then look at replacing the culverts with what's there instead of doing the smart stream crossing, and I could probably do that for somewhere in the neighborhood of 120.
Okay.
So I would take that money and do both crossings. I mean, I'm leaving it up to you as how you want to.
Could we also do it as a separate warrant article and have it as a bond that is approved? And if we get the grant, then we can pursue the bond?
Well, my suggestion would be maybe even take, where this is one of those we may or may not do, if we take it from the capital,
And then backfill?
and take, because we have it in there, we take it from that. If we use it, okay, we've got that done. If we don't, it will just go back in there and can be used again.
Right, if we've got the money in the capital.
Does that have to go to town meeting?
Yes,
or
yes, we have to appropriate it from there.
Put that on?
It will have to be a bond, not a bond, it will have to be a warrant item.
So should I go for 120 in case I have to, in case I don't get the grant? Oh, they're just gonna set it up so if we don't get the grant, you don't.
Well, we can go for,
It's kind of an emergency.
we can go for,
I do the 120.
we can do 120, yeah.
It'll go
and
back anyways.
That way, it'll either go back, or you'll do it, or, yeah.
Okay.
Or if you get it and you only have to use 100, the 20 will go back, so.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Is that,
Motion adjourned.
Second.
all in favor? Motion